You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM. You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM. You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Got adult suffrage. Nigga fully get the right to vote. But you some use this privilege. Like we don't really know what it's worth. We don't care about manifesto. Sometimes we don't even know who is the candidate. But if our next election tomorrow, you know we running to participate. You know why? Some vote for party, some vote for race. They don't care about this country and the problems that we face. Some vote for routine, some will vote for alcohol, some will vote for electricity, and some don't vote at all. Now well, look, don't talk about the campaign. Some modern speakers could give you gripe. Just imagine one night in St. Augustine, a woman boasting about she husband pipe. But with all the boats, she was boasting. But you know the people who was listening. Mama, yo, if you hear them clap, You know why? Some vote for party, some vote for race. They don't care about TNT and this crisis that we face. Some vote for roti, some will vote for alcohol, some will vote for URP, and some don't vote at all. We vote for. You vote. No, well, you know how them Tobagonian like to vote for the family. But I see in the last election, Tobagonian vote differently. You know, they take their uncle money. They use their uncle's cell phone to call. They even put on Uncle Josie. But they vote for Uncle at all. You know why? Some vote for party, some vote for race. They don't care about this country and all these problems that we face. Some vote for roti, some will vote for alcohol, some will vote for a Josie, and some don't vote at all. Love it.
All right, the Panther. Oh, Panther, they want you. Panther.
Thank you. Now you see places like Tanapuna. They just have plenty bacchanal. But just like St. Joseph and Barataria, they just call them seats marginal. So now to help out the party, a lot of people give wrong address. So they catch a set from Caroni, trying to vote in San Fernando West. You know why? Some vote for party, some vote for race. They don't care about TNT and all these problems that we face. Some vote for roti. Dalbury, what's up, shot, same thing.
Some will vote for alcohol.
Carib Stack, same thing. Some will vote for a Josie, and some don't vote at all. Love you, love you.
All right. Come here, Panther. Panther. I want more. Wow, how about it? Panther, right? Come on, Panther. All right.
Now, according to the constituency, certain parties they stand a chance. They does know who win already. Long in advance. This is why they just say Lavanti. Up there's what? B&M for sure. And Vancouver and Caroni is NJAC, is UNC forevermore. Tell them why.
Some vote for party, some vote for it.
They don't care about this country and all the problems that we face.
Some vote for party,
Some vote for what?
some will vote for alcohol,
Some will vote.
for a jersey,
And some.
don't vote at all.
Love you. Enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you for supporting the review.
Put your hands together for the Panther.
Ladies and gentlemen, the review has opened its doors for 45 years. This is our 45th year of operating business, and before we have done so, these fantastic gentlemen, and of course you, the lovely people who support us.
Is Pharaoh still exists?
today. For next to nothing pay, so they can't see the way. We don't enjoy equal facility. Like Pharaoh and company, brainwashing we say we free. We just can't go this way. We just can't go this way. Please deliver us today. We just can't go this way. And to make them oppress us pay. We just can't go this way. So the children could see their way. We just can't go this way. Suffer like this. You said that you will take care of the poor, just like you did in Egypt. When Pharaoh had the Israelites in bondage, you delivered them. But here again, we are in the same khaki pants. We have those modern Pharaoh who oppress the poor, who represents Israel. They confuse us with so much lie. Just come on this way. Not even thinking that we would realize. And if we criticize, we could be ostracized. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from the poor. Another Moses again. Oh, we just can't go this way. Please deliver us today. Time to make them oppress us pay. So the children could see their way. Make them get on their knees and pray.
It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. So sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and me. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and me. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and me. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover my brother, cover my sister, them who under pressure. Cover, 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 cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover, 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 the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover, cover, cover. Jesus alone is the one who has the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let you know he's a fixer. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me mind. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover me mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh Lord, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover, cover, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover, cover, cover all them radio stations that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover, cover, cover. Cover me. Cover me. Cover me.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else who fits somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Of course, this is the post edition part 2. Yeah. Post-budget edition part 2. And you know what we always say here in the village? We originate, we don't imitate. You know, anyone, each and everyone is welcome in the village, no matter what color t-shirt you wear. You wear a pink t-shirt, you wear a salmon t-shirt, a mauve, a green, a multicolored zero t-shirt. Don't matter what planet you're from. If you're from Massateanius, Zimaranius, Venaranius, Saturnus, we welcome each and everyone in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Let me say a special welcome to the one and only, the no other than Diana, Waveney, Benskin, Stormy, the Storm, Greta, the Trinbage Gonian, the motivational speaker, the poet, Benskin McDonald.
Some people does vote for shark and bake. Some people does vote for a nut cake.
God, that's a big song, you know. Some will vote for a roti and some don't vote at all.
But no, some people voting for a double, but the country still in bare trouble.
Oh God. Let me welcome no other than the commissioner, Thomas E. Marshall, the commissioner in Newark, Nisbet, boy. Tommy, how you going?
Good evening. Cover me while you fix it, please.
Yeah, we covering them while you fix it. We covering them. We trying to get them all in. We covering
it's Bacchanal and Port of Spain today. The people say they want Rowley to go. And they want, they say PNM must go, eh? They say Rowley must go, and they want Kamala. You see that? You see that protest? Okay.
You want to?
They say they want Kamala. Rowley must go. They say PNM must go. They say Rowley must go.
Please. Most of them don't know what they want then.
Oh,
they don't know what they want. If you want Rowley to go and you want Kamala, what is the sense? What sense it making?
Don't talk.
No, but what sense it making?
And that's why Mr. Johnson said, PNM gonna get back here. More pressure in the tail. Pressure.
What sense it making? All right. Let me say Rowley go. You want Kamala? Really? Or you want Kamala?
Yeah, that's what the people say in front of the Red House. What's wrong with you?
Okay, where them from?
I don't know. I have no idea, but they say they want Kamala. So.
Listen. I had to play that song by Valentino. This place nice. We don't know what we want.
Oh.
We don't know what we want. Tommy,
Mr. Trinidad.
You see what you said? What you said? You see what?
I see you saying don't get quiet. Like we don't know what we want, Tommy.
Because I'm spending so much time thinking, and my lips are just sealed. my lips are locked because my mind just working.
They say they want Rowley to go.
Listen. You see, this is part of the problem we have in Trinidad and Tobago. Very simple, right? How do you get Rowley out as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago? You think going to march and protest?
You call an election now.
How you go call an election now? How do you get to call an election now?
But if he had enough confidence in himself, he would have called it. He would all this gruntling. Look what me and Motley do. All this grumbling about my tenure and my performance, and I have confidence. He would call an election.
No, Dan.
Listen, Patrick. He came up under Patrick. You know, he see Patrick took basket twice.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you. Thank you.
Patrick took basket twice, and what was the outcome? You think he gonna be so smart or so dumb to do what Patrick did twice?
That is why I raised the point. That's why I raised the issue.
Medina is a fruitless, and I'm sorry to say this, but it's a fruitless point. Fruitless. The only way, mute point, mute. You could mute. You see, that is part of the problem. Because we talking about Rowley must go. How does Rowley go? How?
That's why I want to know.
They just 2 years ago they had an election and they put him back in their hands down. You telling me that he didn't feel that he was mandated to do another 5?
5 years.
Not only that, not only that, but people aren't looking at the issues. Everybody's getting sidetracked.
Yep.
Everybody's getting distractions.
Tommy, you are absolutely correct. Tommy, listen to this. I telling the people, the first thing all they have to do, all they have to talk about, is for Rowley to go as the political leader of the PNM.
What?
Because Rowley is not going, and not because I'm a supporter of the PNM. I am saying that. Rowley ain't calling no early election. He not. So all you could go and march in Port of Spain, or you could march in Diego Martin, or you could march in Faizabad, or you could march in Toko, Grandi, or if you could go up on the Sun on March. They're not calling an early election. Right?
But you know what? Go ahead.
I am not a supporter of some of these policies of this government under Dr. Rowley. No, I'm not. And I would like to see Dr. Rowley go as the political leader of the PNM. But I am realistic. I'm very realistic. Right? Or they're calling him to go as the prime minister. It's not going to happen. The only how we could go is if he decide to call an early election, or somebody in the PNM bring a no confidence motion against him.
All right, then.
Vote him against him and get him out, and they have a by-election, whatever. But how are you getting him to go? That's why I want to know.
Give me a walk in the party. I will stand up against him.
No, but then even think about what the alternative is.
But
what is the alternative?
All right, if he go, who we want? Kamala? Really?
And when you think about these new upstarts, are they really ready? Do they have a structure in place to really govern that country?
No, Diana go say the NTF.
Some vote for Bacon Jack.
Some vote for Reese. Some will vote for a roti, and some don't vote at all. But that's why we need quagmire that we're in. People don't want to face up to facts. Look, you have a right to go and march. No one should take away your right. If all they want to go in tongue and march, all they have a right to go and march. March up and down the place. Oh God, how long they marching now? How long?
But let me tell you, I find there was not enough people at that protest. I say so. When you look, you see a handful of people. Where Trinidad have what? Let me leave the 0.6 for the little babies and the children in school. Leave out the 0.6. You mean, let me leave off another 100,000 for the old elderly people and the infirm. How much y'all left me with Anslam?
Which protest you talking about? Which one?
The one that they had 2 days ago, or today? What day was?
No, that's the one with Abdullah.
Yeah, they had something at the Red House 2 days ago or something.
That UNC march around the Red House.
You know.
As far as I'm concerned, the last successful protest in Trinidad was Section 34.
No, Tommy, that's not true. The last successful protest was the 60th Jubilee celebration, where all of them was celebrating in the streets. And just recently, that our next one, where all of them, with all them steel band on them, and you see how much of them was out there.
Yep.
You see how much of them was out there? And the Stink and Dirty Fete, that was the next one. And the Jam Naked one.
Yep.
That's the next one. And then the one, what is that? No Jaws. That is one there, No Jaws. And the next one called No Jaws. Them was successful. Them was successful. Them other match.
When we're talking about issues, of national importance
But
that
that's
needs to be
important.
addressed, that needs to be addressed,
But
who
that
really
Tommy,
focuses?
you're dealing with Trinidad. That stink is important to be stink and dirty in the street.
You know, as far as I'm concerned,
When is the last time they marched for the Paria 5?
Mm-hmm.
Eh? When is the last time they marched for that? But look.
Yep.
We boy. When is the last time they marched for that?
Yep.
Right? Boy, it has something called recency bias. It look like they are recency Trinidadians. Because them does only deal with things that's most recent.
you know, the thing is that if the people really care about crime, they would insist that they get a meaningful commissioner of police right away, like yesterday.
Thank you. Talk it
There
talk.
you go, Tommy. So you go,
The-
Tommy.
The issues,
Go ahead, Tommy. Go ahead.
the issues, like I'm saying, that needs the attention are not being highlighted. Why? Because everybody's out of focus. Everybody's being distracted by a whole bunch of rubbish.
Yeah.
One set of rubbish. Rubbish. Listen to this, right? I do my budget analysis, right? Oh, now let me go to the chat first before we go far. Okay.
Sure.
So of course, it's always normal. Nadia was in the village first. She said good night, everyone. First, second, and third. Good night to
Nadia.
Anselm. Good night to Diana. Good night to Tommy. Good night, Diana. Good night, Tommy.
Tell Nadia, Stormy is home, Nadia.
She could come and babysit now.
Yeah, come on, babysit Stormy. Stormy. When Stormy went to the daycare, that was to remove that other animal from the daycare because of Stormy.
No, they're not removing that.
Stormy was doing 5 cents, 10 cents, $1.
Don't tell lies on my puppy. No.
Diana,
Yeah.
a source tell me that Stormy was doing you 5 cents, 10 cents kind of thing.
Well, he got 2 girlfriends up there, so
You see, I was correct.
I think we're gonna call him Freshie instead of Stormy.
Freshie, yeah, right. Good. Nadia says to Keisha, good night. Joan, Judy, Rose, Lana, Capiza, Miss Cuva. She said good night to Ellis, Ulrich, Albert, Ken, John, Troy Smith. I don't see Troy Smith lately, boy. I know, boy. It's all kind of thing that's going in the village here. Only love in the village people. Yeah. Full 100.
Every day.
Nadia say hope all is well. Yeah. Hey, look, Rennie coming early, boy. Good evening, WZYE family. Good love. All is one. Yeah, man. Full up. What? Hey, Leonard?
Rennie get the phone. Let me get out early o'clock tonight.
Yeah, he said, Nadia, special good evening to you, chick. Hey. All right. Yeah, I stay note of that, yes. And he spelled chick. He spelled chick,
Nadia, Nadia, Takesha, Lana, they're the village sweethearts. You know that?
Oh, that's what I'm telling you.
Judy, let me start up thing here. So you ain't no sweetheart. You're a tamarind.
Judy's a sweetheart also. My apologies,
Judy's a tamarind.
Nah,
Rose, you's a lemon.
I don't know, Judy support.
Rose is a flower.
Let me start back and all in the village here now.
Keisha says, Diana, the Storm, good night. Ansem, good night. Tommy, good night.
You see what Ian do in Florida? Oh, God.
Oh, Lord. That fella.
Mauricia, Miss Cuva.
Ian lick up Florida, boy. Gee. Yeah. I nearly bought a property in Florida, moved to Florida, and then I said, nah, meanable the hurricanes.
But guess what? You could be under your bed in whatever state or what part of the country. When disaster strikes, you cannot avoid it.
Yeah, you can't avoid that. Anyway, you go. Albert, Takesha says, Albert, Vonnie, Elledge, Raj, Ulrich, Hailey, Troy, Chris, Tropics, Daryl. I see Tropics coming the other night, boy.
But they're more prone to hurricanes and things than where I am now. So
Takesha says, only love in the village, no room for hate.
That's right.
Yeah, Takesha, protest tomorrow. Want to see how much people come. It will go show up. Robert Amar go show up.
Mm.
The Underground Report go show up with
Mm.
the Pumpek of radio, Slighty K, and the
What do you say, Tanti K?
Slighty K.
Slightly gay.
Slighty K.
Okay. I just making sure it's not Tanti K because I don't think
Yeah,
Tanti
no,
K
no,
alive
no.
anymore.
Yeah. I'm gonna call him Tanti K. His name is Slighty K. And Lennox Wordsmith, Lennox Smith. And then who was the go get? Robert Amaro, for them. Oh, they go get the Rampasad person.
The
Oh, that's she name? Yeah.
Tobago Warriors.
She go, right. She go. Well,
Women
David Wilson
warriors.
going because he's a pep now. What are you and she go by?
We
Nasty P
knew.
going because he's in Tobago.
Your friends want to beat them, Anderson.
No. Anderson is kind of man. Anderson in between now. He in between. Yeah, he in between Pep and UNC. So he kind of in between now. But he might go. I feel Anderson go. I know if Kingsley go. I know if Kingsley go. Who else, boy? Yeah, I think they go have a few people there. Yeah, they go have a few of them. And well, the pushback movement, them stop pushing back now. You know, I know they pushing. They stop pushing back long time. You know them.
They're pushing forward.
Yeah, they're pushing forward now. I know, like the pushback movement stall. They just come out hot and sweaty, you know, and they marching up and down the place, and all of a sudden, when they get what they want, things stop, and they go and they're coming again. They're trying something different. The teacher says, imagine budget pass for education and schools still begging parents to help fix school. Yeah, the teacher go get into that. The education budget, they get 567 million extra. I know no problem with that, though, you know. I know no problem with that. So we go talk.
I hear the Prime Minister get a raise, $20,000 a month raise.
We hear that.
Taxpayers' dollars.
you spreading rumors, huh?
That's right. Why you there. I don't know how true. We could Google it here. Let me Google it and see.
Fellas ain't gonna raise. Lana, welcome. Bless good night to all in the village. Lana say bless up. And Sam, Tommy, Diana, love in the house, full 100.
Your friend Judy said, your friend Judy DeSant said that he get a raise. So.
Huh?
Yeah.
Judy says, greeting to all beloved brothers and sisters in the village. Families, another blessed day. She says, Nadia, Wall Street.
When you done, I want to take one sham for Kojo. When you done?
Yeah. Judy says, Nadia, Wall Street need to give you a position in the village. And the DAT village to open the show. Very punctual indeed. What, boy? I don't know, boy. I feel like
I agree.
Yeah, no joke, you know. I feel like Nadia some type of a WZYE beat. You know what I mean?
I agree.
As soon as I message out, it essentially like, you know, a text. Like she have a kind of automatic text somewhere. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, you know.
Yeah.
But I even finished. I even finished the send button, boy. Nadia just be inside. Nadia full 100, full 100.
Nadia needs.
But Rennie, you have to stop this, you know. Good evening,
ladies.
What
are you doing now? What are you doing?
Good evening, ladies in the village. I find that
Wham, you vex, you and a lady? Ah.
Yeah. Rennie agreeing with Judy. I like that one. What should give Nadia a position to open the show?
For real. I agree.
Look, Bonnie Roberts. Bonnie Roberts, how you going, brother? Good night, Nadia, Judy, Lana. He's our next one, you know. Them fellas is only spending all kind of good night to only the ladies alone. Tommy, you gotta watch that, you know.
Well, you vex you and a lady?
Yeah. No, we are no. I mean,
I know. Okay, well, you know, let me hold on to be good night. Watch yourself.
I happy that you're doing that. Lana said just now we got to squeeze stone to get water and eat dirt. Oh God. Not dirty.
I have a piece of apparatus under my chin, straight up around my head, my face, you know, to help the face go back in order and to the muscle, you know, from hurting.
You see, this is what makes Albert a statement. Albert said, good evening, Ansem, Diana, and Tommy. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Albert. You know, but Lana, I hear what you're saying, except that if what you say you shall have, you know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Takesha says, wait a minute. Imagine people in going for water, people in getting water for months and water gone up. Right? What? Yeah,
Oh Lord, look what
Takesha.
Albert say. Albert.
We're gonna just cover everyone in the village and cover we while we fix it.
That's right.
Hey, look, Hailey boy. You're inside. What tax? You're inside, Hailey. You're inside. You're inside.
Yep. Anyway.
What? Albert Montano said Colombo taking you to the promised land.
Oh God. I don't know. I ain't see them out in the streets yet. Me ain't see them in the streets yet.
Because they're good with everything. They're good with everything. If you're not taking it, you're not getting it. But if you're taking it, you're getting it.
Hey, Vonnie, you're right. I haven't seen Joan in a long time. She went on a date. And I ain't see she since that. I don't know what it is. So Vonnie says, answer your friend Bart. I really like you. Laugh out loud. He? Like the fellow who says 75% of the people in Trinidad cannot read. And we have a 98% literacy rate. Hey, well, listen to this one. After I called a radio station this morning and said Trinidad had a $50 billion deficit.
What?
And
whose
I got to download that tape. I got to download that tape. I fell on a radio station. He said Trinidad have 50. I said, but wait now, boy. I Google it right away, man.
Yeah?
$50 billion deficit. I said, but what year was that, boy? That must have to be like 1850. You know? But
what did Google tell you?
I don't know where you get a number from. I don't know where you get a number from.
Maybe he reading his digits wrong. Billion for million or 100,000. We don't know.
Maybe he meant 15 million. Maybe billion. 15 billion. Vonnie say anyone is better than Rowley. Believe it or not. Kamala, better than Rowley? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. The people restless and desperate. They want anything with Uncle Rowley. Oh God.
I think he showed up when George was there in the van in his car and they boo him. Oh God.
Could you want to shout welcome? Go ahead, Tommy.
In my humble opinion, I think if somebody like Bharat leads the UNC, they could win hands down.
Well,
that's just my opinion.
What are you talking about? That fella is about country. You have to be about party, boy. Wrong with you?
Okay.
That fella is about,
sorry.
That fella, yeah. You getting it? Don't get it twisted, no, Tommy. Rose, welcome. Nice to see you, Rose.
And that is why the Caribbean will move along and leave Trinidad behind.
But the key word you just said, Caribbean. If there was truly to be a Caribbean unity, we would get a lot more equity and parity.
Rose
says good night, Diana, Anselm, and Tommy. Yeah.
My spirit is always good, Rose. Always good. Jehovah resides with me, so I'm always good.
You see the opposition of current government? The opposition of current government? Hey, listen, they have a few good ones on both sides of the coin. Not all of them, but most of them. I have a video to play for you about the Minister of Trade. I don't know what planet she living on, boy. She something got to be, something got to be wrong with them, boy. It's like them went to the dentist. Some of them they went to the dentist and they don't use Novocaine again, but they had some remnants of Novocaine and they give it to them, and they was going to splash the Novocaine in the gum, and somehow it end up in the brain, and they're only using 5% of their brain. I want you to listen to what that woman had to say. We go talk about that.
She from nobody lived there, Thereanius.
Yeah. Bonnie Robert, that is a good question, You're saying Rowley must get out of PNM. Seeing as you say you are PNM, who's your choice for the leader? I will get to that, Vonnie Roberts. Don't worry. I will get to that.
But Anselm, as the outsider here, because they always like to tell me I'm not a Trini, as a Bajan. I find all they're getting on real. I don't know. Mobilang and Shupidi. I mean, you see the suffering under this current administration. They have the whatever with the soreness with the UNC. And everybody, you know, I don't see no. You see a little pocket here and a little pocket there, and that was other countries. The whole tongue would have been ram-packed with people, ram-packed.
But Diana,
I don't
that's
what.
but
What
that's what I'm
is
saying.
wrong with Trinis?
No, Diana, nothing wrong with them. You have to understand that. By the way, Rose says, I booked my ticket free yesterday. Rose, that's good information. I booked my ticket free yesterday. We have to pay from next year. I'm going to Tobago on Sunday for 1 week with my husband. So it's still free. You understand? It's still free. So whatever information they've been put out
for
there,
seniors. Free for seniors, that is.
yeah, it's still free. Right?
But on the boat, you had to pay $25 or something next year.
No. She said, I booked my ticket free yesterday. We have to pay from next year. I going to Tobago on
That's what I
Sunday
just said, from next year.
Next
you
year.
had to pay $25.
And yeah, from next year. But you see, that is the problem, part of the problem with the PNM. You have this thing circulating all over social media that people have to pay $25, right? They leave out from next year. And you ain't even corrected. You ain't even corrected. You just let the thing run like a wild horse and you ain't even corrected. Boy,
who's the communications person? You got to jump all over them. Somebody named Alcantara.
Laurel Ozama.
Or is it Alcantara? Somebody named Alcantara.
No, the PR person is Laurel Ozama. Right?
He ain't know what he doing.
No Briega. He should have put out.
No Briega.
No, and let's call him the nosebreaker.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, boy. I don't want to even hear from that guy.
Everybody, you know, and another thing too. I find everybody in Trinidad and Tobago, they have all the historical facts and where the UNC did this and PNM did this and this one was, and so all it is go on and on with who did what and when they did what. And me, I said, but what the ass is this at all? But we mean who did what and who did what? What is going on? Nobody don't need to know that.
Diana, listen to what Takesha says. And these are the type of things that make sense. When last the March for kids having no food and education? When last?
Thank you.
When last?
Thank you.
When last?
When last the March for school books?
When
Thank
last?
you.
When last the March that parents couldn't pay for their kids' school book list? When last? We serious?
No, they're not. While we at it, Miss Kojo, because I will keep she name it, you want people to do what? Make sacrifice? How about you make a sacrifice and donate your salary to people that can't get the book list filled? How about you making a sacrifice?
You know, some fuck I hear about that one, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I sent you the front cover of it. I sent it to you. Make sacrifice? Huh? I don't even want to go there. How much book list I ain't filled for the year already?
If they really want to impress us, they would do what's the right thing.
And them in my chair, how much book list I ain't help fill, Angela? Or we, let me say we, WZYE. Huh? We sacrifice. Huh? I mean, you make sacrifice. You don't raise the gasoline. Food done gone up. Plenty of people get sent home and getting sent home. Huh? And you want them to, and they're working at 2013 salaries. Those majority public workers, and you want them to make more sacrifice again? Oh my God, you like the Merchant of Venice? You taking blood, you taking a pound of flesh from the people near the people's heart, and they're already financially emaciated. I don't know what's wrong with she. Why you don't donate all them wigs and weaves you just be wearing? Donate the money you just be doing for that now.
No. I don't think we should.
No. You know what's wrong? Wig in Trinidad? Donate that money. You just be let me talk. Hello.
Because
Touch like Diana Ben skin on and donate that money. You just be wearing wigs.
No, because Diana, what happens is that then you are opening the thing for them to attack you personally, and you can't make it personal.
I want them to come to me. Let them look. Hello, answer me. You know. I want them to come for me. Come now, the Bajan girl say come. How much time they try to come for me, and I just shut them down. I'm not afraid of them, you know.
No, it's not that you're not afraid of them, but I wouldn't make it.
I am not.
Just like example, Kizelle Jackson made it personal with Fali Chavez Augustine.
I'm not making it personal with her.
Yeah. Because
I am responding to a statement she said.
Yeah,
but don't come out and tell people you want people to make sacrifice. And people they petting and then the tanty the great.
But Anna, I will.
Why are you defending she? Why are you defending her?
But I will quicker attack her for the phone bill that she had. Bill that she had, and she said she couldn't get internet.
I am responding to her statement. Cut your hair like Diana Benskin and afro or bald and donate them money. You just put all them weaves and stuff to the people to help them buy books. I said it. If they want to come and attack me with my bald head, I got paid to model a bald head. Anybody want to come for me? I just grow hair like that. I just don't like no hair on my head. I might like different hairstyles. Anybody want to come and tell me about my bald head? Let them come. I'm waiting for them.
No, but then what you be doing is personally attacking.
Well, I'm a person. I have nothing against a woman. I don't know her. But don't go and tell me that poor women that can't make the book list, you tell me sacrifice makes. Well, you make a sacrifice then. Make sacrifice. True. I said it.
Top of the hour.
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah. We're supposed to have Senator Lyda in at about 8:15 tonight. So let's go for a quick station identification. It's in the village at the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. I'm trying to open that you sent me there, and somehow.
Yeah, I said a whole heap of things for you.
Yeah. Hold on. So it's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Let's go for a quick station identification. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Lord, I'm tired here. People say when the country go in astray, I am but a voice of one. Nobody go take me on. So they stay safe inside their crease while the crime and violence increase. Finally, wouldn't say a word, and we slip down that mission road. But you have a voice, so you must use it. God gave you that choice, so don't abuse it. You have a right to speak freedom of expression. If you think you're weak, check the Constitution. Yes, man, pressure. That is what my granddaddy said. Wash the clouds and the clouds away.
You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM.
Well, it's time to give them a nudge. So if you're waiting years but still can't get shelter, HVC, how you running helter skelter? Since you cast your vote, you can't see your MP. While some meetings state of your belly empty. So when your temperature start to boil, till you feel your anger on boil, don't let your name of character spoil. Give them pressure. Let's see what went on in France. We protest, yes. though they need some relief. Well, they're afraid to upset we chief. Said go fast soon as play follow the leader. They only singing praises on social media. Just go wave a flag and then shake your booty. If you love this country, now do your duty. You see, pressure is what's right. Well, I just not be what you say. Pressure is what's right. Man, start raising your voice today. Pressure is what's right. Even if you think that you small. Pressure is what's right. David still me go like a Paul. So if the bridge break down and the one tree blessing, give pressure. And the rubbish pile up till you can taste it. Give pressure. And the rivers rise cause the drains are clearing. Give pressure. And all your crazy and peanut tearing. So when the temperature starts to steam, till you feel like you want to scream, before the damage your self-esteem, come on, feel that pressure. Pressure that's what's fight. Yeah. Pressure that's what's fight. Pressure that's what's fight. No. Pressure that's what's fight. Too many sisters along the way. Look, it's kicking off every day. Endless bruises from head to toe. When makeup so it won't show. How when you ask them what causing that, to your face they go tell you flat. How they slip and fall down these stairs, or some door hit them unaware. But you have a choice, not obia or voodoo. And if your door speak out, well it will continue. You have to tell a friend, confidant or pastor. Otherwise you'll call me Jamaica faster. Yes, sir. Pressure is what's fight. So if you know your man violent, pressure is what's fight. So just take licks and stay silent. Pressure is what's fight. Reach by the station, make a report. Pressure is what's fight. It's time to take the bastard to court. So if you like the lash like in him, it's Lashley. Give them pressure. You went up punching bag on top of a donkey. Give them pressure. When he wouldn't stop no matter how you want him. Give them pressure. Before you chop him up or become a victim. So if you start giving you hell, only making you two eyes swell. It's the police you had to tell. Let her give him pressure. Pressure that's what's fight. Yeah. Pressure that's what's fight. The man give me his number, all your wallets. Pressure that's what's fight. Pressure that's what's fight. Throughout history, we hear the tale of simple people who did prevail. Many heroes who left their mark. Martin Luther to Rosa Parks. Folks who did not accept the norm, raised their voice, refused to conform. When they told her to take a seat, Rosa didn't accept defeat. So when they come around using tongue compliance, I tell you, hold your tongue, show them show raw defiance. It's only when you stand up that you can change it. Man, forget the status quo, time to rearrange it. Sing it! Pressure but fight. Before we turn the social unrest. Pressure but fight. People lift your voice and make your protest. Pressure but fight. Seems today you are only heard. Pressure but fight. When you're on tire in the road. So if you get a standby while you still waiting. Give them pressure. And in your own backyard you still have a latrine. Give them pressure. If at every dawn you still toting buckets. Give them pressure. While you catching hell, there's nothing them talking. So when the tension they wouldn't stop till your health and your money drop. Before I made it we foreign pop. Give them pressure. Pressure is what's fight. Just don't rock back and wait. Pressure is what's fight. Lift your voice before it's too late. Pressure is what's fight. There's always something you can do. Pressure is what's fight. Trinidad, it's really all up to you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus Christ, in my cross, and my can't do it that.
What is the difference between the ordinary thief and a political thief? Number one, the ordinary thief steals your money, your bag, your watch, and your jewelry, isn't it? But the political thief steals your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. Number 2, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose the political thief to rob you. Because we choose them. We vote them. We blindly say we are not blind. Who is deceiving who? The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend and protect our belongings from the ordinary thief. Is it not? But we fight each other to defend and protect the political thief. Is that not what we do? Thugs will be fighting themselves to protect those that are stealing our career, stealing our joy, stealing our health, stealing our success. What a shame. What a travesty. It calls for us to think and think deep. The stage we are in as a country is not a stage where you become an onlooker. You have become an onlooker for too long. You must get ready to put your hands to the plow and be part of the process. It's not just about PVC, carry PVC. You must be in the kitchen where it is being determined. You must be there where the decisions are being made. If we are there in our numbers, they cannot outnumber us. But you leave it aloof. Oh, no, it's too dirty. It's a dirty game. And then the dirty guy is getting to the game of play. And you are there not showing up. And when they begin to make the decisions, you will know whether it's a dirty game or not. The result is always dirty on yours. Dirty on your health. Dirty on your business. Dirty on your success and your career. I hope that is stirring up something in you.
We are back in the village to the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m.
So you choose who you want to rob you, huh?
That's what we do, though. And we fight each other.
I'm sorry, what was the chorus in that calypso? I was trying to understand it. That you just made.
Pressure does bust pipe.
Pressure does bust pipe? Okay, I was trying to understand it.
Yeah. Pressure
Oh.
does bust pipe. You know what I mean?
You know they're gonna. You know for sure. Now you ain't getting no Trinidad citizenship or no Trinidad papers.
Hello. I was born in Trinidad. I don't care about them. They don't want to give me my citizenship. I don't care. My not citizenship, ID card. They can't take away my citizenship from me. Okay, good.
Yeah, pressure does bust pipe.
When you hear pressure that's bust pipe and you get into what they're saying, what?
Ain't no pressure busting. They could keep that to me. That don't stop me. Let them keep it.
Yeah.
They can't take away my birth paper.
You sure?
Hello. You want a world war, a diplomatic incident to happen? You can't. You want to take them to court?
No, we don't want a situation. We don't want a situation.
Okay.
But wait now. Rose said they promised to give the elderly and disabled people a one-time travel allowance of $1,000. But this is from next year. What? But after the local election?
Yeah. That's gonna come out. Yeah, $1,000. God,
But wait now. But Rose, but think about this, right? I don't get that. I don't get this. Grass. Gas was raised immediately, right? Immediately. Right? So if you give the people $1,000, get them it immediately too. So at least they could kind of get a little offset now. But you gain them it a year later. Now I understand the $25, right? Not going until a year later because the people had to pay more. But if you're going to give them a little kakada, give them it right now. Some people
They're
might
gonna
even
break.
see that $1,000. Might even be here to see that $1,000 next year.
That's what I would say. You pick and they gain it to them closer to voting time.
You know, but you gotta make it make sense, you know. You gotta make it make sense, you know. No, that to make it make sense. You know, and that is it. We ain't making it make sense.
They're gonna give it they're gonna come as a trinket.
Yeah?
They're gonna wave in front of their eye close to
Yeah?
voting time.
Judy, what you're saying here makes a lot of sense. Judy says everyone should have their vehicles shut down all over the nation for 3 days. Trini are a bunch of jokers. But make sure you have it shut down in the right place, though. Judy, you don't want to come back and all them vehicles going. You know? But that's
Guess
a
what?
good point.
The wreckers gonna make money. They're gonna wreck vehicles left, right, and center.
But no, but Tommy, that is part of when you are doing civil disobedience. I always call it civil disobedience. You have to come up with creative. That's very creative. That's very creative. I like that. I like that, man.
I mean, the teachers wanted to do a rest and reflect. It was a problem. I hear the prison, they hear one of the prison fellas say, all you gonna run the prisons.
Yeah.
Now, if all of them decide to walk and go, just leave. Well, how they gonna get it done? They're gonna run, pull the soldiers in to man it, but
Dana, Bonnie Roberts defending you. Yeah, Bonnie. Leave Dana to speak Anselm. Leave her. I seen the PNM in Anselm. Bonnie, you see, that's the good thing about us here. We could disagree with each other. You know what I mean?
And let it be known, I have no, I have not no ill will in my heart for none of them in the PNM. But I just say what I got to say because I don't belong to nobody. I don't belong to nobody. I don't have a card for no one. Right? And you come and tell people sacrifice. Well, I could tell you what you could sacrifice, how much book list you could fill without sacrifice.
Yeah. Takesha says, yes, Dana. If it wasn't for you and people in the village, kids make it out to go to school. Kids would not have made it out to go to school. You guys are a blessing. Yeah, we try.
Yeah, the sacrifice I make. All you slayers that want to call me Bajan and tell me mind my Bajan business, I'm minding the Trinity children. That Growley and Imsbert and Donna Cox's and what's your name? What the next one name? Got Dolly Gatsby ain't care about. I taking care of them best I can. But wait now, medal giveaway the other, and they couldn't even give me one made out of copper.
That one for you. That was platinum one for you. Platinum. That was platinum one for you. Tommy.
Make out of copper, boy.
Platinum. Tommy.
Speak to me.
A message, yeah? Rose says, Tommy looks so nice tonight, but I'm a minister now, so I don't want to sin my soul. Rose says, Tommy looks so nice tonight, but I'm a minister, so I don't want to sin my soul.
Oh, Rose is a minister?
Yeah.
Praise God, Jehovah.
She's a minister or what?
Let me bite my tongue.
Tommy, you go ahead. Not by yourself. Wait, this one? Bonnie Roberts say, Shamfa for leader and Google for president?
Nah.
Google for president? How Google come in there?
Bonnie, were you sipping on some spirit or what?
No, he said
Are you
Google
having a libation?
Google is the fella on the program.
Pastor Google?
Yeah, Pastor Google.
Rose is a minister of the gospel. Hey, Rose,
okay.
I have a question for you. Someone said they got a text that Mr. Sears was no longer with us. Is that true? Could you confirm here now? They asked me. I said, I don't know. The only person I know close to them is you. You know who Mr. Sears I'm talking about?
Yeah. Rose, thanks for the confirmation. Rose said Ansem is not a hypocrite at all. He stands for who and what he believes in. Full 100. Full 100. You understand? What you see is what you get. You know what I mean?
But I keep saying this is the second time people made it to that area of Port of Spain. Not true. Okay, if you're listening, not true about Mr. Sears. Not true. If the second time they made it to Port of Spain, and the chant was the same thing. Rowley must go. I didn't hear PNM must go. I heard Rowley must go. Second time, eh? Okay, good. Now, if you hear the PNM must go, you could say, well, they're not satisfied. They're saying Rowley must go.
But Diana, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't have a problem. And I listen, it's both sides of the coin, right? When you saying UNC must go, it don't make sense. It does not make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And when you're saying PNM must go, it doesn't make sense, right? Because don't care, jump high, jump low, jump sideways, backwards, forwards, however you want to jump, right? The parties are there to stay, right? Now, I don't know about the PDP. That's a different story.
Lord.
I don't know about the PDP.
That's drama and bacchanal in itself.
They're very young in the game.
God.
And Dr. Mashup look like he go mash it up. Right?
Dr. Mashup?
Yeah, Dr. Mashup look like he go mash up that thing there. Right? Right?
I don't know. I Trinidad and Tobago, y'all need to get it together, yeah?
So Keisha says, Lana says, Shampa should specify what kind of sacrifice she wants citizens to sacrifice. You know, but you see, this is part of the problem, eh? Most of these individuals, most of these ministers are just following the leader. Right? All you remember when the leader said this? Let me play this for you. All you remember this? Who remember this one? Let me see this. All you remember this? Listen to this.
Well, that is so cliched. I'm not really trying to interfere with the bridge between the rich and the poor, because there's nothing wrong with the rich getting richer, but the poor must come out of poverty. Right? So
well, that's kind of bridging the gap, you know?
That is the equation. It's not a seesaw where one has to go down for the other one to come up. You have to find a way that you encourage the rich to get richer, because in getting richer, they create opportunities for the poor. Opportunity. And of course, if one wants to take advantage of opportunities that are made available, one has to prepare oneself, right? To make the sacrifice, to make the effort, because out of effort will come reward. So it's not a simple up and down situation. It is that you have a target of ensuring that no one is left behind and that there's opportunity for everyone to move up.
One of the things.
Now, let me give all the example. Let me give all the example. The 22-23 budget, the Ministry of Housing, in 2021, the allocation was $1 billion. $1 billion. In 21-22, it was reduced to 610 million. Right? In 22-23, it went up to 974 million, an increase in $364 million, over $500 million. I wonder why is that, boy? Housing. I wonder why is that, Tommy? You had some forays into housing. I wonder why is that, Tommy? Help me now. Tommy, why you laugh? Tommy, help. Come on, man. Tommy, help me now.
Wait now. Why you asking Tommy for help? You feel like I saw for sure.
No, I'm coming to you just now. I'm coming to you, Tommy.
But and houses mean mortgage, no?
No. But the allocation of $364 million more dollars
to housing.
Yes, for housing.
So go ahead, build more house. He's going to build more houses for poor people.
And Tommy.
Oh yeah.
People would make money.
Wait. Who gonna make money?
The Chinese.
Hey, Tommy, you're being kind of diplomatic there tonight. I know is that. You don't speak truth to power on us, and you're kind of hedging, man.
You want me to answer the question? Tommy's a commissioner, so he had to stay, in a certain lane.
Tommy, you're kind of going close to the house, man.
You want me to answer it? Let me answer it. Let the patron girl answer it now.
Answer it.
Right? So Paris and he buddies who all have shadow companies here, there, and everywhere, them go get the contract to build the houses. So he created opportunity for the rich to get richer.
Diana Benskin go to the head of the class. Diana Benskin go to the head of the class. I see our first guest is already inside. And let me tell you this. Here's the other one, Tommy. Rural development and local development. In 2021, it was 1.642 billion. In 21-22, it only went to 1.656 billion. Small thing. You understand? Maybe a little 15 million or something. But in 22-23, it went to 1.87 billion. A whopping $231 million more. Whoa, think about that.
I want to see which construction company manned by people from who are considered to be poor gonna get them contracts.
You see, them is the things I focus on in the budget. Yes, gas going up, but you could say gas going up all over the world. It's not just in Trinidad, not Trinidad alone, gas going up. We was paying for something for gas just the other day. For something.
Gas went down.
And it went down, yes.
Gas went down here.
Correct.
Went down almost by $2 a gallon.
Well, all right. About
mine going down too. Way down.
$2 a gallon. Almost.
Going down. That Jersey by me is like $3.19 or $3.07. I saw it went down from 5 something to 3.07.
Which is $2.
Let me bring in a friend of the in the village.
But you see a boy they puncture a hole in the out in the sea out there, the gas line, allegedly.
Right, out in Russia, Ukraine.
So you know what's going on there. Good night, Senator Leiter. I'm incognito, so you'll just hear my lovely voice.
Dan, let me tell you something. Whether my lady Benskin, if I only hear your voice, see your face, it doesn't matter. It is only love in the house, man.
All right.
I'm only seeing you. I seen you on Facebook and all kind of thing, man. So
you just mark up my page.
Yes. You in my thoughts and in my mind and my thoughts all the time, man.
No, you're a good Marco. You're a Trini, but go ahead.
Special welcome to Senator Damian Leiter, of course, no stranger to Indie Village. I sent Senator Leiter a kind of formal message. He said, "Where is that Wall Street? Where you sending me formal message for?" He said,
Wall Street, not because there's a budget and your party reading the budget, mean you have to get formal with me, you know. Me and you is brothers.
I say, oh God,
me and you is brothers.
No. I didn't mean anything. I didn't mean anything like that, you know.
I see this formal message. Good afternoon, Senator Leiter. So I am Wall Street. No, I am. You give me a full and slim. And I say, and I would like to invite. I say, Wall Street. Where the hell you come off with this? With this formal thing? I say.
I ain't gonna lie, you get me into. I not no argument about it. You're full 100. You was absolutely correct. So Senator Leiter, the budget, and I want to ask you first, Senator, you don't see anything positive in this budget? Anything positive at all? Anything positive? I mean, they moved the the non-tax, where you have to pay tax to $90,000 a year. People making $90,000 a year do have to pay taxes. You think that's a good thing?
That is adding. I can't remember the amount we put the total to. That's adding to. I think it was. You said 90,000 a year, right? No, it was hold on, it was 60 to
7,500 a month. It was 7,500 a month.
Right.
Think it was 7,500. I think
it was 7,000, and now to 7,500 a month, right?
Yeah.
I mean, look, that these are little things, right? In my opinion, these are little things that little sweeteners. I mean, nobody's going to object to being able to save a few dollars in tax. No one can object to that. So I mean, but when you look at the overall scheme of things, when you look at the punitive measures that have been put in place in many of these fiscal measures, all right. So here I have in my hand, right, what I like to call the Red Book of Fairy Tales, right? I have been studying it over the last few days. I listened to it in the Parliament. I've been trying to study it over the last few days. And I have to tell you, in the 7 years that this government has been in power, I think, honestly speaking, from what I've seen so far, this has to be probably one of the worst budgets read in their whole 7-year term in office. And I'm a bit surprised. And I'm very surprised about it. And let me tell you why I'm surprised. Many of us walked into that Parliament that day really expecting the PNM, the Rowley-led administration, to have read what we would say an election budget, right? Because we know that there's a local government election coming up. We know that Colin Imbert, the finance minister, has boasted about some excess of 8.8 billion or so extra in revenues, give or take 100 million. I'm just going on what I can remember. Some over 8-point-something billion. He will be closing off on a much smaller deficit this year. And so since October of last year, and he's been saying this in the lead up to the budget, he's been talking about the $100 million US dollars per month extra in revenue coming in because of a war that's happening in Ukraine, not because of diversification of the economy, not because the agricultural sector, the tourism sector, the manufacturing sector, not because of any of these sectors performing better or bringing in extra revenue into the country, not because we have foreign direct investment flooding our shores. In fact, what's happening is foreign direct investment has exited our shores. We are in a deficit when it comes to foreign direct investment. This means that foreign companies are packing up their bags and they are leaving our shores, as we are no longer an attractive place to invest, right? So none of those factors I just said there added to this added revenue that we have, or this windfall that we have coming into our economy. What has simply happened is this. Far away, thousands and thousands of miles away, in a land where we can't even speak the language, there are two presidents that are not seeing eye to eye, and there's a war that's ensuing. And that war is having a negative impact on the price of fuel for many countries. But for us, it's having a positive impact because we're exporters. We're exporting oil, we're exporting natural gas, and we are indeed getting added revenues every month since the war in Ukraine started. So when the Minister of Finance comes out in the budget debate with what I consider to be his typical arrogant manner in which he speaks and presents himself, one would have thought that the GIS government done something miraculous in the last 7 years to bring diversification outside of the oil and gas sector. But all that has really happened here is that we do have a windfall. God is truly a Trini. And we have extra money coming into our coffers. And I don't know, somewhere in this budget presentation, there should have been money allocated to send a letter of thanks to Vladimir Putin. I didn't see that in the budget statement, but that should have been in the budget statement where he allocated some money for a FedEx document thanking Vladimir Putin for striking war. So all in all, I consider that there is not very much within this budget that one can boast about or feel confident about. When you look throughout each of the categories, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's agriculture, whether it's tourism, I am gravely disappointed in what I'm reading. And what we're seeing is several things. We're seeing some little nice to have things that, properly presented, it might fool the average man who doesn't understand the ministry very well into thinking, so you just stated one, Anselm, right? You stated that, there's going to be some added, you're going to raise the ceiling, right, to 90,000. And as I said to you, there's nothing wrong with that. But then at the same point in time, you're coming with property tax, you're raising fuel, you're putting in a host of measures, fiscal measures at the end, which sees higher fees, added taxes, increased items that will increase the cost of living. And when you have a situation where the public service, for instance, is the finance minister basically says, no deal, no negotiation. You taking what you get is 4% for you. And you have 4% for public servants. Since I think it is 2013 is the negotiation up to 2019 or something like that. 4%. Now this year, the central bank states that inflation is started somewhere around 4.7%. So just in 1 year alone, inflation is 4.7%. Yet you are settling wage negotiations with the public service for a number of years at only 4%. So you get a little break on tax. Is that really going to get you through? Is that really going to help you to afford to buy food, to pay your electricity bill, to pay for the higher rate of fuel? I was at the pump.
PNM interfering with the signal again.
He was at the pump.
I think he's frozen. Yeah.
Oh, I PNM again.
So
sorry, I think I lost you there for a second.
We lost it at the pump.
So
you were at the pump.
Yeah, so when the PNM came into power at the end of 2015, diesel, for example, was $1.50 per liter. 7 years later, 5 increases in fuel. We're now at $4.41. So what would have cost me?
Is it 5 or 4? Senator, is it 5 or 4?
$4.41 for diesel.
Per liter.
Right?
Increases.
Yeah, per liter. Yes, so it's $4.41 per liter of diesel. It was $1.50 when the Rowley-led administration came into power. It is now $4.41. That means that what used to cost me $115 to fill my car now costs me $334 to fill my car. But I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of fuel prices right now, right? Because that is a major situation that is affecting the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We will have a response for that within the budget. But what I want to say to you is that we walked out of that room seeing only tax increases, seeing projects to nowhere, like the Toko port, money that could be better spent maybe to subsidize fuel. But one thing is for certain, it has now become harder for the average citizen in Trinidad and Tobago to live going forward after this budget presentation. And I want to say something to you. Let us be clear. There are many things that the government cannot control. So the government cannot control the price of food on the international market. The government cannot control the price of freight. So the government cannot control all these things that are external. But what they can control is how much tax they charge you, They can control VAT. They can control duties coming into the country. They can control the taxes that they implemented on the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. They can do those. They can control those things, which leads me to the first topic I was hoping to have discussed with you guys tonight, which is the matter of property tax as read within the budget. So,
okay,
if I could go ahead.
Yeah,
Wall Street. Yeah. All right. So
before you go, right? We're gonna get to property tax. I want to ask you the next thing, right? The fiscal deficit went from 9.096 billion to 1.50 billion, a reduction of 7.586 billion. Isn't that a great thing, though?
Yes. Well, that is all up, as I said in the beginning of the show. That is all a part of the added revenues that came in to the coffers since October of last year and since the beginning of the war, right? So whereas no one can dispute that a smaller deficit is always promising for a country. But again, I have to say to you, Wall Street, that this is not as a result of anything or any performance of this government. This is just clearly a matter of increased revenues coming in via higher petrochemical prices due to a war in Russia. Now, let me ask you this. I'm sorry, in Ukraine. Now, let me ask you this. Tomorrow morning, Vladimir Putin and his neighbor hug up and kiss up and love up and gone back in bed. War done. Thing free, thing flowing again. Europe negotiating with Russia, everything nice. Let's just say hypothetically that happened in 6 months from now. What do you think is going to happen with the price of oil and gas?
Price going down.
It's going to free fall. Yeah. It's going to free fall once again. And I don't think it will free fall to the point where it was during the COVID pandemic when it went into minus, right? Because the world is reopened. There is a demand for oil and gas, but it most certainly is going to decline to a point where it's going to take it well below 90, where this government has set the budget, right? It can go back down to
95. They set it at 95. All price.
Yeah, 95, right? And it may very well go down to 60, 50 again. Okay, so what we're saying is that the Minister of Finance is being very optimistic. Well, listen to the irony of it. He's being very optimistic about a negative matter continuing, which is a war in Ukraine, because that is why the prices are the way they are today. Now, I'm not an energy expert, so I'm not going to sit down here and get into a long story on energy. But what I can say to you is I understand the meaning of demand and supply. And once there's an end of a war in Ukraine, there will be a higher supply of fuel on the international market, and that will drive prices down. That's the basic economics of demand and supply. So everything now is hinging. This drop in the deficit, this increased revenue, it's all hinging on a war in Ukraine. And I'm saying to you that what this government should be doing at this point in time, rather than taxing the hell out of citizens in the country, putting these draconian measures to suffer citizens, they should be investing in the ministries that will bring diversification of the economy outside of oil and gas at a time when you have another windfall. So there should be serious amount of investment in agriculture for our food security, to lessen the over $5 billion food import bill. There should be a serious investment in tourism. We look at Tobago, what an amazing gem Tobago is. But in this 7 years, the government has not only done nothing for tourism, but tourism is in decline under this administration. So to answer you, I hope I answered your question about the deficit, and I was hoping, as I said, to get
fine.
into
Let's go to property tax. That's fine.
Yeah.
Let's go to property tax.
Right. So I hope I answered the question on the deficit, and I don't know if anyone disputes that, but I don't know who can dispute that, to be honest.
Well. I mean, when you look at total revenue went from 43.33 billion to 56.175 billion, which was an increase of 12.842 billion, right? And then expenditure was about 57.658 billion. So that's how we came up to the fiscal deficit. It was because of the price of oil, basically, which allow to have to actually forecast a revenue of 56.175.
Well, there was a combination of two things. Wall Street is a combination of the increased revenue, and it was also as a fact of the government slashing expenditure. Right, so you see, it works in two ways. So you have increased revenues, cut expenditure, especially when you look at areas such as agriculture, where they promised $1.3 billion and they never spent anywhere near that. So they would have saved, or they would have cut or slashed expenses. I mean, there are many. I mean, you hear the corporations, the 14 corporations throughout the regional corporations through the length and breadth of Trinidad, complaining bitterly about not getting their disbursements. So the Minister of Finance has been holding back money from the corporations. So in every single ministry, he's been slashing and cutting, like what they do in Brazil when they cut down rainforests. Slash, cut, and burn. Burn up, fire, and that's it, ash. So you slash expenditure, and then you have increased your revenues, you will have a smaller deficit. So that's basically the strategy of this government.
The expenditure went from 52.429 billion to 57.685 billion, right? It went up though, right? Is that the total revenue, which went?
Yeah, but you remember normally. Sorry, yes. Say again. Sorry.
I said the total expenditure went from 21-22 was 52.429 billion, and it went to 57.68. So it's ticketed at 57.685 billion.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a difference about 5.256 billion between 21-22 and 22-23.
And just imagine they've slashed and cut many ministries throughout this year. So what the expenditure would have really been. So, but anyhow, we'll be looking into the yellow books over the course of the next few days to see where the money was spent. So I don't want to talk blindly about where the money was spent at this point.
We go property tab. Because I had to take it to task on this one. Don't forget, I had to take it to task on this one. Go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, so if we look at page 46 on property tax, now this is an interesting thing, right?
Yeah.
So basically, Imbert has signaled that they are ready and raring to implement property tax in 2023. He's signaling that they are reaching that 50% threshold, where they do intend to implement property tax. And I want to read something for you, right? And I want you to hear this very clearly.
Okay.
So he says, on the beginning, he says, Madam Speaker, we are on track to commence collection of property tax in fiscal 2023. The legal structure is already in place. Now, what he means by legal structure is that they came to the Parliament. I debated in that debate earlier in this year, and it basically passed in both the upper and lower house, where they were ready to move forward with this, right? So all legislation is in place. I think the 50% threshold is about there, and they're ready to rock and roll with this property tax, right? Now, here's what is an interesting thing. Let me continue. He says, upon population of the valuation rules, the Board of Inland Revenue will commence the assessment and collection on property tax, starting with residential properties. Right? Using the formula in the Property Tax Act. You should note that as part of our local government reform exercise, these residential property taxes are allocated by law for use by the 14 local government corporations for the development and maintenance of their respective regions. After residential properties, the assessment of commercial, industrial, and agricultural properties will follow. Now, to the average man listening to Imbert saying that, they don't have that'll go straight over their head when they hear someone say that. But I'll explain it to you, because I was in a debate dealing with property tax, and going through that bill, hidden somewhere towards the back of the bill, I'm talking like with a 6-point clause, hidden, tucked away, was the point where they said that commercial and industrial would when that eventually comes into pass, whenever that may be, the Minister of Finance will have the power to decide what percentage of that commercial and industrial property tax will be allocated to each of the 14 corporations in which the tax is taken, right? So on the one hand, you have residential property tax coming in 2023. And by law, all of those funds, 100% of that money is meant to go to the region in which it is in. So there are 14 regional corporations, right? So let's just say, for example, the Diego Martin Regional Corporation, whatever residential tax is collected within that region will be provided or given to the body, the local government body in that region to use to spend for whatever works, beautification, infrastructure works, etc. Right? We're going good so far.
So it doesn't go to the consolidated fund? It goes directly to the corporation?
Yeah, exactly. So you see what it says here. You should note that as part of our local government reform exercise, these residential property taxes are allocated by law for use by the 14 local government corporations for the development and maintenance of their respective regions. Now,
listen to us, Anselm. Go ahead.
Right. No, but I want you to stick a pin.
Doesn't that mean it goes to the consolidated fund and they will allocate it to the corporations?
It goes, yes, it allocates to the corporations by law. So whatever that amount is collected, right, will have to be given to the corporation for the expenditure of development and maintenance in the area, right?
So let me be clear. If they collect $29 million in the Diego Martin Corporation, whatever it is, that
from residential property tax, yes.
From residential property tax, that money will go to that corporation to do work in that corporation.
That's right. Correct. Right. Now that's how it works in many first world nations, Canada, United States, whatever taxes is collected goes back into the communities, right? Which are going good so far. But before I go further, let me just state that our position as a political party is that we don't agree with any property tax in any shape or form at this current time. While people are suffering in this country, while unemployment is at its highest level than it's been in decades, while food prices are skyrocketing, while gas prices have gone up now, while there's so much hardship in Trinidad and Tobago currently, we don't agree with putting further pain and suffering on any citizen in this country, because citizens are going to be asked to look for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 extra a year to pay their property tax, right? And we're saying that right now in these current conditions, post-COVID, after so many companies, 6,000 SMEs have shut their doors. So many companies have laid off people. There's been so much retrenchment. Petrotrin being shut, 10,000 persons on the bread line. And the many, many more companies who have either let go people or shut down and had to let people go. Some over 120-something thousand persons came off the roll of the NIS. Some may have been added on recently. Some may have come back off. Some may have died. But the fact is, there's a significant amount of people that are no longer contributing to NIS, which indicates that there is a significant amount of unemployment in the country. And that is the formal sector. We don't know how many people have lost jobs in the informal sector. So what we are saying is, this is not the time for property tax. So I don't want to hear people say that, oh, the UNC was bringing property tax before. And those were different times. We have to deal with today. And today, yes.
I want to read something for you. On Monday, 21st of December, 2009, during the last sitting of Parliament, the property tax bill was passed, with 22 PNM members voting for the bill and 10 UNC opposition members voting against. On January 1st, 2010, the property tax became law. That same year, the PP promised to axe the tax if they got into office. It was a promise they never kept. The only change that was made by the PP government during their term was the suspension of the payment of the tax for the period January 2010 to December 2015, which the PNM also did when they came into office in 2015 to further suspend the tax to December 2018. So I will say, Senator, that the UNC or the PPP had an opportunity to axe the tax, and when they got into office, they basically ignored it. So they are coming now to talk about that. It sounds a little disingenuous to me.
No. Listen. At the end of the day, what the PP government ensured was that not a single person paid property tax in the 5-year tenure while they were there. So the fact is, whether it was taken and struck off the books, and whether we didn't get a second term to actually have done it, because there were many things that the PP government would have liked to have done should we have gotten a second term. We didn't get a second term in office. We were not able to complete many of the things that we wanted to do. But at the end of the day, we never put back in place the insistence on citizens to pay property tax. The fact of the matter is, it is this government that is coming to do that now. And again, I'm saying, it is not that fundamentally property tax is not a good thing, it's not something that is beneficial to a society. We see it work well in Canada, we see it work well in the US, and so on. But what we are saying right now, at this current moment, Wall Street, is that this is not the time to introduce this property tax, such a draconian measure like this, now when people are suffering. But I'll tell you this. The point of the matter is, the PLM government doesn't intend to listen. They're moving forward with it. Whether people cry, whether people say it's a horrible time, they're moving forward with it. So let us go with the concept is that they're moving forward with it, right? But there's a point I wanted to get to. I want you to understand this, right? How unfair this property tax regime is. Now, you heard I said that, so let's just say hypothetically, the tax is coming back on board. It is good that tax is being kept by the regional corporations for them to do the maintenance and development in the corporation.
The tax is already low, right? It's not
Sorry?
that. The tax is low, right? It's already low, right?
Yes, it's law. But there is an assessment process that they must go through to then be able to implement. So there's an assessment and valuation process that the government is undergoing currently with residential properties at this time.
But
I'm going to finish.
They're not bringing a new law. Property tax is already law.
Yes, so that has been passed in the parliament. Yes.
Okay.
So it's all about the implementation of it now. Right. So and he states it very clearly here. He's very clear with it in this passage. He says it says here, so you should note that as part of our local government reform exercise, these residential property taxes are allocated by law for use by the 14 local government corporations for development and maintenance of their respective regions. Right? He says after residential properties, the assessment of commercial, industrial, and agricultural properties will follow. Now, it took this government more than 2 years, almost 3 years, for them to go through the process of assessing, valuation, to get to the threshold of the 50% of properties to be able to implement property tax. So the question I have to ask is this. Given the length of time it took this government to do that, how long will it take when they complete the exercise of implementing residential property tax? Will it take for them to assess with valuations, etc., for commercial and industrial properties? And that's a serious question. I'll tell you why.
But I think commercial should be first. I think commercial and agriculture
I get into my point now. Right? You see, you thought they're fighting you just on the tax, but
no.
Listen to this.
We have a discussion. It's a discussion.
Yeah. So listen to this. You know the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago. You know the landscape quite well. And dotted throughout the entire region of Trinidad and Tobago, all 14 corporations, length and breadth of the country, there are residential communities, there are neighborhoods, and all around these neighborhoods are commercial properties, industrial properties. Look at, for example, El Sicuro, Sawa Barataria. There are lots of communities of people living, and there are lots of manufacturing plants, commercial properties, retail stores, bars, restaurants, you name it, that coexist within the same neighborhoods as these residential properties, right? But yet you are coming to middle income, low income citizens, because I'll tell you something, the upper income citizens in Trinidad who live in Westmoreland, Goodwood Park, Valsayn, and these places, they don't have any manufacturing plants in their neighborhood, you know. They don't have any retail stores in their neighborhood. Maybe Val Park might have a little mall, right? But in most of these high upscale areas, there's no manufacturing plant that has large trucks driving out and mashing up the road and causing potholes, breaking up the sidewalks, putting pollution into the drains, piling garbage up on the outside, right? But when you look throughout El Socorro, Chaguanas, Arima, Pointe-a-Pierre, all these areas, you have residential areas that are dotted with commercial properties and industrial properties through the length and breadth. And this government is coming to tell the population that we are going to tax you, the citizen, you, the tax-paying citizen of this country. We are going to put a tax on you so that your money could go to fix the neighborhoods where these commercial properties and industrial properties exist, where their trucks are mashing up the roads, the sidewalks. Commercial properties with thousands of persons traversing and patronizing these various stores, restaurants, bars, etc. That contributes towards pollution in the environment. That contributes towards the destruction of sidewalks when people drive up on sidewalks and park up 10 cars up on a sidewalk. You know it is in these neighborhoods, right? When people throw in their old oil out in the river when they're cooking Chinese food, and they're going to throw in the old oil out in the ravine and so on, clogging up the drains and thing, right? Reason why we have a lot of flooding, because of lots of drains being clogged up and not being cleared and so on. And you are telling this population that you come into them in 2023 to instill a draconian tax on thousands of citizens of this country, many of who are suffering, catching their nene today. And you saying that the commercial properties and industrial properties, companies that making millions of dollars, companies that making money, them get a free pass? They get a free pass?
Yeah, we want you to hold that thought right there. We got to go for a quick session identification. I know you got to run, but hold that thought there.
Nah, I'll stay with you. I want to talk about agriculture.
All right. So hold up. Second say, we're going to go for a quick station identification. It's in the village to the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We have with us, no stranger to in the village to the DAT Triplets, Senator Damian Leiter. And we always have a fruitful discussion when Senator Leiter comes into the village. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Senator, I'm not sure if your property tax argument is holding water. Here's why. Because between 2010 to 2015, we was doing great in Trinidad and Tobago. And that would have been a great opportunity to implement the taxes that we are implementing today or in 2023, which is going to be a burden on people in Trinidad and Tobago. So looking back, if in 2010 to 2015, if this had already been done, we would have been almost a whole decade into collecting property taxes in Trinidad and Tobago, and we wouldn't have to face that today with respect to collecting property taxes in 2023. So I think.
But you just finished telling me that we held back and suspended the property tax, right? Yeah. And we didn't scratch it off the books. And I finished telling you yes, because we agreed we won't bring in property tax, right? So I just finished telling you that. So we stuck.
Listening to WZYE 95.9 FM.
But you said you was going to ask the tax, and you didn't ask the tax. So it was there still on the books. So
well, I'm saying to you, now we never got a second term. And that's why we say elections have consequences. There are many things we would have done. If we got a second term. But you see, you're not going to carry me down this. Listen, Anselm, you are not going to carry me down this rabbit hole. The fact of the matter is, we never charged a cent in property tax between 2010 and 2015. That is the fact. You cannot dispute that. We are now in 2022. That is where we are today. And I'm saying to you, the environment.
But you had the prime time in order to do it because people was doing much better in the country. And now we will not have to face that people are facing.
But we said we weren't going to charge. But
go ahead.
But we said in our campaign promise we weren't going to bring the tax. We did not bring the tax, and we still stand today saying do not bring the tax. So I don't understand what your point is. We didn't bring the tax between then. You're saying we could have. Okay, of course we could have, but we didn't. And we are saying today, when things are bad, this is even the worst time to bring the tax. So even in the good time, we didn't bring the tax. And we're saying now it is the worst time to bring the tax. I don't understand your point.
You should get rid of it. You should get rid of it.
So we should have, all right. Okay, so but the fact is, listen, I don't want to hear about what between 10 and 15. We never charge a cent in tax. We may not have taken it off the books, but neither has the PNM. In fact, the PNM coming to bring it to us now under a new formula, under a new working, right? So don't try to rabbit hole me back in 10 and 15, partner. We in 2022 today. The environment is different today. People catching their tail bad today. And we stand on the fact that now is the worst time to bring property tax. So now about my argument holding water. We never charged tax. Okay, it didn't come off the books. If we had a second term, maybe it would have. But the point is, we never charged a cent in property tax, and we held true to what we said we would do. No property tax. And I'm saying to you today, that we are still standing by the fact that now is not the right time to bring property tax. But I just want to say...
But when is the right time? When is the right time? When do you think is the right time?
No, should the economy improve, should the economy diversify out of oil and gas, and should the government change and a proper government come into power that runs the country properly, that is able to diversify the economy as we will be able to do, and grow an economy as we did, then we'll be in a better position to have that discussion at that time. We can't talk about what if and if and if. We have to deal with what's now. This is the situation now. You want to take me 10 years back, and now you want to take me 10 years in front. We have to deal with now.
Yeah, but
right now,
tell me when
right now. Yeah, right now. Yeah. Right now, we are saying at this current moment, given the current state of the economy under this government administration, we are simply saying now is not the time to bring the tax. We ain't coming to tell you take it off the books. We ain't coming to tell you this. We're saying it is not the right time to implement this tax now because this is only going to put further pain on an already beleaguered population. But if you are not seeing, if you cannot see the suffering that's happening in Trinidad and Tobago today, then you have to be blind or drinking the PNM Kool-Aid. No, that's what it has to be.
I ain't drinking the Kool-Aid. I like
somebody
to drink.
Right? You had to be drinking the PNM Kool-Aid, right? You had to be squeezing that Balize so hard and dripping that juice inside the glass that you are seeing the average man. And let me tell you something, Anslim.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time when all you would see, right, when you could see people complaining on social media, you would see you would see a certain group of people complaining, right? A certain group of people complaining. Now,
we mean by certain.
Let me tell you something.
We mean by certain.
When I say a certain group, people who are wearing party colors, you will see them complaining, right? Oh, so somebody wearing a yellow party shirt will complain. That's the normal thing. Politics, man. I wear a yellow shirt, I go complain with anything of a man wearing a red shirt. Right? Now you're seeing yellow, red, blue, green shirt. Everybody under the sun complaining and crying in the country. And from your own neighborhood, wait, is? You like to say it all the time. Chumaka. Right, go up in Chumaka now. Go up in Chumaka with a Balize in your hand now. Them young fellas will run you out. Right?
Anyway.
Right? So no. So you wasn't getting me into a race talk, partner. It's party talk I going on. I see. You're a mischievous fella in Wall Street. I know you're trying to get me on a race place there. No, sir. Yellow shirt and red shirt. We talking politics, brother. And to me, politics have no race. I don't want to talk race when it comes to politics.
listen, we don't we very rarely talk race in it. But Senator, go ahead. Tommy, you wanted to ask them something. Go ahead.
I wanted to say, Senator, we all agree that it's a real bad time for the taxes.
Mm-hmm.
However, we know that it is inevitable it's going to happen.
Yes.
And of course, like you said before, and Wall Street said before, you should look at the commercial and industrial sector first. Now they're gonna look at the residential properties.
Yeah.
Do you believe that the formulas that they are going to be using will be equitable and fair?
Well, that remains to be seen, because what you have is you have humans going out and evaluating properties based on how many rooms you have, how many pools you have. So there's a written formula that valuators have to go out there and estimate the value of a property and the rental value of a property, right? Now, is there room for corruption? There most certainly is. We're dealing with humans, right? So is there room for corruption? There certainly is. Is there room for political victimization? Absolutely. There certainly is. Because the powers that this Minister of Finance has, and the fact that he has power over many employees who don't have security of tenure in their jobs, right? And that are on contract, and at risk not having their contracts renewed. And I'm not casting any aspersions on any minister, on any public servant or anything like that. But I'm saying many of the laws we have passed in the parliament, and I'm not going to go into details on the laws, but many of the laws that we've passed in the parliament put sweeping powers in the hands of the executive arm of the state, an elected minister. So whether it's the Ministry of Trade when it comes to the economic zones and granting of license in economic zones, whether it is the Minister of Finance and his powers and influence over board of directors of various institutions under his control, many of these entities, the political hand of the executive arm has the power to get involved there. And many of these people coming into positions are being put on contract. They are not given, they are contract workers. They don't have security of tenure. So I'm saying to you that it's left to be seen. There are going to be many people that will dispute the valuation of their house. And of course, there will be the opportunity for them to do that and all these things, right? So how it works, it's left to be seen. We will see how it rolls out. But there is obviously always the opportunity of the possibility of corruption or nepotism or some political interference. There's that opportunity, but I don't want to pronounce on something now until we actually see how it pans out in the end, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I have a question when
but what I want to deal with is what we know now. And what we know now is what is written within the law, right? What was debated in the bill and passed in the parliament. And in the parliament, it is clear. It states that the residential property taxes shall go to the 14 regional corporations in which the residents exist. And then somewhere towards the end of the bill, in a little clause, it stated, when they eventually implement commercial and industrial property tax, right? The minister, the political arm of the state will have an influence over what percentage of the property tax derived from the commercial and industrial property will go to the corporation and what amount will stay in the consolidated fund. Now, here's where the problem with that is. Now, you're talking about a political member, someone who's political having these sweeping powers. So if somebody who is political has these sweeping powers, don't you think that opens the door for the possibility of victimization of corporations that may not fall under the political ambit of your party? And by this I mean the 7 UNC regional corporations.
But why not 100% of the taxes from the industrial and commercial businesses?
And that is the question I asked in the parliament in the debate which the minister never responded to, right? Because what he does when we call him out on things in the parliament and we catch him, he just ignore. He just wrap up his debate. He gets the vote. He gets the unanimous vote because we are only 6 in the Senate. 6 opposition in the Senate versus 15 PNM, and well, we have 9 independents in the back, but I ain't gonna say nothing there. I'm a man of class, so I go save my tongue on that one.
You want to say him as PNM too, Senator? Is that what you want to say?
Wait, let me tell you. Wait, let me tell you that some of them.
That's what you want to
say.
Wait,
let me tell you that some of them is. What you want me to tell you? That some of them is rank PNM? You're not going to get me to say that on the show. No.
That's what you want to say, though. You want to say that.
I have a question for Senator Leiter. Senator Leiter, I don't know how it works in Trinidad, right? Because I don't have property there. I'm in Barbados and here. When you're going to build something in Trinidad and Tobago, is there such a thing as tongue and planning where you have to register?
Town and country planning, yeah. There's town and country planning, yes.
So are you supposed to register the type of edifice that is going to be constructed on the property with town and planning?
Well, you have to get your town and country approvals and so on. If you're in a corporation and if you're on leasehold land, you have to get certain approvals from the state, etc. But most land will have covenants which states whether or not it is residential, whether it's mixed use of residential, commercial, whether it's commercial. So and town and country is that body that will sort of govern that. If you start to put up a commercial building in a residential area, you will find town and country on your back. You'll find the corporation on your back. So there are bodies that are there in place to sort of ensure that people are not stepping out of the rules of the covenants in which you're building. So that exists, right? Whether or not they're questionable.
Go ahead, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Whether or not there are questionable things happening inside of there, you hear people talking, but I don't want to say that I've ever had an experience where I've seen something questionable happen. But I mean, again, as humans, as Trinidad, you see all kind of thing happening all over the place. But it is very clear. Places are zoned according to residential or mixed use or commercial. So that is very clear. But do we have many discrepancies throughout the country where people put down, break the rules and so on? Absolutely, all over the country. I mean, you have I have people squatting for crying out loud. But my thing is coming back to this. But my thing is that not only are you not implementing commercial and industrial property tax at the same time as the residential. So in essence, you are asking the residents to contribute towards the development and the maintenance of the neighborhoods in which these commercial properties exist in. And these commercial industrial properties call on the government for the same things as residents, They want development in the area. They want maintenance of the roads, the drainage, the sidewalks. They want garbage collection, just like the residents. So how is it that you are not at the same point in time with residential properties? Why are you not assessing the commercial properties, the industrial properties? Why are you not coming all at once now to implement the property taxes on commercial and industrial? And it leads me to ask the question, are there very big players? Are there very big financiers of the PNM that lobby to delay or put these delay tactics in place? I'm just asking. I'm curious, because to me, any first world nation, anyone with the right sense and understanding Trinidad will know that these actual commercial properties, industrial properties, actually do quite a bit more wear and tear to the infrastructure in which they exist.
Correct.
So why are you calling on residents only to contribute towards this? And then you're taking the taxpayers' money otherwise to make up the difference, because the residential properties will not cover the entire cost of running a corporation and doing the maintenance and so on. So it is taxpayers will have to come now and make up the difference. Taxpayers from monies from the consolidated fund, which will join with the residential property tax to deal with the maintenance and so on. So you're asking taxpayers and you're of the whole country, and you are asking residents in the area to contribute towards maintenance and repair, but you are not asking commercial and industrial to come and join in the party in an equitable manner.
Why I pose that question to you, Senator Leiter? Because when my property tax bill come, it has the dimensions and stuff of the edifice. So I'm thinking, why they going out to people and why can't they go from the record, if it is in town and country planning, and pull information from there, update the database as to what property exists there, and go from there to create that bill.
There's a lot of unplanned development in Trinidad and Tobago.
There isn't. You are right. You are right, Tommy. There is a lot of unplanned development. I mean, everywhere doesn't make itself out like El Socorro South and these places that are properly cut up and proper streets and so on, right? And the land is properly cut up and so on. I mean, there's a century of poor planning throughout the country. I mean, that's not a PNM UNC thing. That's a century-old situation of poor planning throughout the country, right? People building on top of people building on top of mountains coming down, clogging up drains with soil and silt and so on, right? So, but you see my point. My point is, unless you are ready to go with commercial and industrial, you should not be asking the suffering and struggling residents to come and foot this bill now, and the taxpayers to come and foot the bill. And let me make it clear, I have nothing against commercial and industrial properties. They contribute significantly to the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. They create employment. They pay their taxes to the state, we would hope, right? They contribute towards various charitable organizations and initiatives throughout the country. And overall, they contribute towards the building of our nation. So I am not going to disparage the commercial industrial companies. I commend any Trinidadian or foreigner who is prepared to invest their money in our country. I commend them. I congratulate them. Right? I put them up on a pedestal. But right is right and fair is fair. You cannot come and put this burden on residents if you are not prepared to allow commercial and industrial to share in the burden. And then furthermore, if you are saying that 100% of the residential taxes are to stay within the corporation, why are you putting a clause in that bill that states that the minister, right, has the power to decide exactly what percentage of that commercial and industrial property tax will be given, if any, but will be given to the corporation, and what percentage will be held by the consolidated fund? Why are you doing that? Because if you have
monkey business.
Because if you have massive industrial complexes within a neighborhood, they will be contributing significantly to pollution of the area. Their big Mack trucks and 10-wheelers and 10-ton truck and all these trailer trucks and so on will be adding towards the destruction of the roadways, potholes, pavement. Right? I have my business in an industrial complex in Caroni. And if you see the state of the roads in that industrial complex, in that E-Tech Park, the state of the roads within there, if you see the state of the sidewalks, we have to be calling them to fix fire hydrants, right? Flooding, drainage, security, right? We have to be grappling with the government to come into an industrial complex that they are collecting rental income from tenants in the industrial complex, right? And budgeted with monies every year. And it's still not coming and fixing these roads, the potholes, and the sidewalk. They're doing it piece by piece, chirrup. And when we make plenty noise, they will come. But as an industrial complex, imagine all these places. I use El Socorro as an example. El Socorro is that most perfect mix between El Socorro, Barataria, Sawa, that area. It's the most perfect mix of industrial, commercial, residential, and agriculture than you'll find anywhere else in the country. It is it's perfect. And you have so many residents that you're going to be coming to get taxes from. But yet all of these big trailers coming up and mashing up the road, and they are not going to contribute towards the roadway and the local roads. that they're destroying? And then you are saying, that even when, eventually, whenever it happens. Now, remember, I tell you, it took these guys more than 2 years to almost 3 years for them to get to the point of reaching the 50% threshold to be able to come to implement the property tax. It took them that long to get to doing evaluations and getting ready to implement in 2023. How long do you think it's going to take them? And they're saying when it's completed, you hear what I'm saying here? After residential properties, hear what he said? After residential properties. So after they've done that exercise, the assessment, not the implementation, the assessment of commercial, industrial, and agricultural properties will follow. That is what he's saying. So now we have to wait until they take however long to implement the property tax on the residents, right? And then they will start to do the assessment on commercial and industrial. How many years are going to pass that only the residents are going to contribute towards these corporations? And even when you complete it, right, and you're ready to implement it on the commercial and industrial, you, a politician, have the right to say, I will give all you 20% of the money. We taking 80% in the consolidated fund. So I could be a PNM politician and say, you see Shoguanas, fire bun Shoguanas. Fire bun Shoguanas. Fire bun Shoguanas, but here we're going on. I will give 80% to San Fernando.
You know.
So Senator Leiter, this is law, right? This is already law now. What we're talking about here, as far as
it is passed, it is passed in Parliament in the upper and the lower house, right? So it is already passed. Okay, it's already passed. They got it was a simple majority. They got it in the Senate. They got it in the lower house. They're good to go. They could implement. They are free to move forward once they get to the threshold, the legal threshold of 50%, which I think they are just about there now, and they are free to go. And that is why he can say with conviction. That's why he can say it with conviction. Madam Speaker, we are on track to commence collection of property tax in fiscal 2023. The legal structure is already in place.
Okay. I was under the impression that there could have been changes, because I was thinking that a better solution would have been to stagger, like commercial, industrial, and agriculture was first, right? They would be the first.
Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there. Leave agriculture out of that.
Whoa.
Them farmers and them suffering so much already under this government. You're gonna suffer them more.
No, I just coming up with that, trying to come up with a solution. That's okay.
And let me tell you something, Anslim. You put property tax on the farmers, it will be impacted in the price of your food.
Yep.
So you see that? I don't even want to talk about agriculture when it comes to property tax.
Commercial will be impacted too. Them commercial, they're going to increase prices too. If I have my business in a commercial residence and I have to pay more taxes, somebody had to pay the piper.
Yes, but let me tell you something. These people growing food, they are our food basket. And let me tell you, if you give me a 10 minutes on agriculture next, I will tell you something about agriculture. Why you can't put that property tax on the agriculture?
All right.
Right? But go ahead, finish your suggestion. Sorry, finish your suggestion.
I would have staggered commercial, leading commercial first. Then I would have staggered maybe homes that are 5 million and above, or 2.5 million and above, right? I would have it staggered. So the last set of people who would have to pay property tax were those people who might have a house for 250,000 and under, as an example, right? So it might take them a whole year now before they know property tax is coming. But they know that it's coming at some point in time, right? And it gives you a year to prepare yourself. We're in difficult times, but at least a year. Because you know what it is? I believe Trinidad and Tobago needs property tax, right? And the thing is, what's important is how those taxes are allocated when they are collected. All of those taxes collected should go to that community that is collected from. All of them, every penny, every red cent, right? And the government shouldn't have a say in how those monies are allocated to those communities or regional corporations, whatever it is, right? And that's the right way to do it, right? And that's how we do it here. You know,
I have a question for you, Senator Lai.
Well, I want to come back to that, but Diane, sorry, go ahead.
So, you know, all it don't come from here, the Bajan girl. Good. So a 5-bedroom house in Laventille, is it going to be taxed at the same rate as a 5-bedroom house in Westmoreland, St. Augustine, Chaguanas, Tunapuna?
The value is different.
No, they will take into account different things, Dan. So it's not going to be like that, right? It won't be like that. Right. Okay. There are factors such as if you have a pool in your house, how many bedrooms you have, how many bathrooms. There's a whole plethora of different measures that they put in place. Yes.
Why I asked that question? I already foresee a glaring disparity in funds that would be collected for the regional corporation.
Yeah. No, it's not in such a way. It's not in such a way where it's hard and fast, where they say you have 5 bedrooms in Westmoreland, you have 5 bedrooms in Laventille, but your house make out of board or whatever, and the next man out of brick, but you have 5 bedrooms, you have to pay the same. No, it has to do with the valuation of the area as well, to the materials used with the house. I mean, if you see a man in a 5-bedroom board house, right, he ain't gonna pay the same tax as somebody in a 5-bedroom house with brick
that is the disparity that gonna come up, and that disparity, you're not collecting the same amount of taxes, and how much can you do with lesser taxes?
Well, listen. These are a couple hundred valuators, I think, that they bought in, that they've hired or contracted to value. I don't know the exact number, somewhere a couple hundred that he bought in. But I mean, they're going to follow a certain policies with valuation, and people are going to have a chance to dispute it when the time comes if they are not happy with the valuation. Remember, there are a lot of private valuators in this country who kind of set the benchmark. So let's wait and see what comes out of it in terms of the valuations, right? And we will see whether or not they are close, they are on. We could see if it's disputable. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen, right? But I'm saying to you that coming back to Wall Street is that despite the fact that we are against property tax at this current time, at this point in time, right? I, from a personal level, Damian Leiter here now, I agree completely with you that if the taxes are collected within the region, whatever region it is, it should go back into the maintenance and development of the region as well. And 100% of it. And that is why I am completely against this part of the bill that was passed, where the minister or the political arm of the state has the right to decide what percentage of industrial and commercial will be kept within that region. And I'm saying this because here's what. Let's say it is massive industry, belting out pollution. Who more than the residents living in that area have to endure that pollution, have to live amongst that, wear and tear, have to look at Nikon blowing up around them, that failed gas and liquid Nikon thing blowing up.
They're back in business though. They're back in business.
Yeah. Great. I'm happy to hear that. But you understand what I'm saying? These are residents that live in around risky areas. These are residents that live in around pollution, around industrial thing mashing up their streets. So by rights, they are the ones that are enjoying the pain living in those areas. So by rights, the property tax should go to the community, to build the community. But that is not the case in the bill. And you see, it's not here in the budget. He didn't put it in the budget. It's in the bill. And that's what the citizens don't see. But that's what I saw. And that's why I'm telling you this on the show tonight, is that is what they are doing with commercial and industrial. So I think it is. So firstly, I think it is. So in conclusion to this property tax point, I think it is the wrong time to bring property tax and instill further pain and suffering on people who are already facing higher food prices, higher gas prices, and overall increase in the cost of living. Building materials gone up. Everything has gone up in this country. The last thing you want to do is put another burden on the citizens again who are struggling to survive, who are struggling to get employment. But putting that aside, I have just explained to you the inequality in the introduction of this property tax as it pertains to residents, commercial, and industrial. And that is why I have to ask the question to you today is why, what is the reason for this delay? What is the reason for this delay? Are there people in big industry that are friends with this government? Okay, you understand? I can leave that there. I don't want to give away.
Right, but Senator Leiter, think about this, right? Yeah. Think about this, right? They're having a big march in Trinidad tomorrow with the budget. How come people ain't marching for this? How come people ain't this is all over the country. This is the whole, this is Trinidad and Tobago. This is not just Laventille or Westmoreland or Arima or Caroni or this is the whole country.
Because Anslim, they implement it yet. When they come to drop that, yeah, but honestly speaking, brother, I find, we as a people, we're very reactionary, when the thing hit us, we just come and our gasket is burst in our head and we come out and protest, right? It's wait until they come and drop it on us, right? For us to react. But you see, again, the way in which they present it in the budget here, nobody is even thinking about this. Nobody is thinking about the fact that commercial and industrial getting away scot-free, right? Because they are not being clear. They are not being clear to the citizens as to how long this process is going to take for the commercial and industrial to come into fruition and to be able to implement it. And they're also not aware that the minister have the right to decide how much of that tax will stay in the corporations because the general population does not see the bill that was passed in the parliament. How many people has listened to Parliament channel? You understand? How many people, when I go to do my budget presentation, how many people are going to tune on to Senator Leiter in the budget presentation to hear me talk about this? The only thing we have to hope for is that the media, which is already, we have our opinions on the media and how balanced that they are, right? But the traditional media, like the newspapers and TV and so forth, tend to not dig up and pry up into these things. I don't know why. Because when we were in power between 2010 and 2015, if Kamala Persad get a flu, they want to know what type of flu it is, what kind of tissue she using to blow her nose, what tablet she taking to get over the flu. But these guys could pass procurement legislation in Parliament where they got procurement, where they've given sweeping powers to the minister to exempt certain things from under the visibility of the procurement regulator, right? And they don't go to the minister and start to dig up and pry and find out what's going on. And up to this day, this procurement legislation has not been passed. Sorry, not been proclaimed and put into action. In fact, we are hearing that the Attorney General might be bringing it back to the Parliament.
Senator Leiter. Right? Senator Leiter.
Yes.
We have an opposition in Trinidad, in my humble opinion, that is totally ineffective. Because if our opposition were doing what they were supposed to do and reaching the masses with the right messages and edifying them, we wouldn't have half of the issues that we are having today. And except, well, I have to apologize if I'm stepping on your toes or anything.
No, not at all. Not at all. I want to say to you, right, that you won't be the first person who has said something like that, right? And that is your opinion, right? And I want to say to you, the opposition comes out every single week on a Monday night forum to talk about the issues affecting the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. The opposition has a Sunday press conference every single week to talk about the issues affecting the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The opposition can hold random press conferences on a Thursday or Wednesday whenever major issues arise. And we hold the press conferences. We have Everything right down to the Dogla politics, if you want to, in social media. We put out social media posts. We put out videos. We are every single week coming to the nation with the issues, with the inequity, with the corruption that is happening within this government. And I'm saying to you that when there is a media that the fourth estate that appears to be one-sided in the way in which they deliver news, that is the reason why you don't hear many of the things we want to say, because the media controls the narrative. And in my humble opinion, the media is extremely biased.
Do you hold the government's feet to the fire? Do you believe you do?
We, as I explained to you, we believe we are doing our job as an effective opposition, calling the government out in every single parliamentary debate in the upper house and lower house. We are coming out on press conferences every single week. Let me tell you how much it is. When Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the honorable political leader Kamla Prasad Bisesa, does not appear on a Monday night forum, do you know the media starts calling MPs and calling senators and calling people to find out what's going on with her? How come she didn't come on the Monday night forum? How come we didn't see her? Is she sick? We hearing she in the hospital. We hearing that she this, she that, all kind of things they're banding about and asking us.
Okay.
But yet the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago can disappear for almost a month in the United States of America and not come to this nation day by day to say what's going on and what he's doing and where he is.
He's a boss.
And the media has nothing to say.
He's a boss.
The media has nothing to say.
Okay.
So they're so concerned that Kamla Prasad Bisesa didn't come to a Monday night forum. So that goes to show you that the media is fully aware of all of our Monday night forums. They are fully aware of all of our press conferences, whether it's on the every week Sunday, whether it's on a Thursday. They are fully aware of what we are doing. The problem is this, and I want to say something. Many of these journalists, they're taking the stories back, But you see when it gets up to the editor, all of a sudden, it gets sterilized. It gets sterilized, and then
like in Parliament, when the Speaker of the House hush you all up, you out of order.
Let me say this, Senator Leader. I think that, and you are going to agree with 50% of this and disagree with 50%. I think part of the problem we have in Trinidad and Tobago is the two political leaders of the PNM. This is my opinion. The PNM and the UNC. I will think that when the UNC gets a new political leader, we're going to see a different, vibrant UNC. And when the PNM gets a different leader, we will see a different PNM. And I think that, these two new individuals is going to bring a new sense of relief to Trinidad and Tobago. And the type of politics we have right now is going to kind of somewhat, I know you're not going to agree with this, but that's fine. You're going to agree with the PNM part because, of course, you guys want Dr. Rowley gone yesterday. And, I, as political leader, as a PNM, I want Dr. Rowley gone as the political leader of the PNM. Everybody know that. I've said that, and they know that, right? And I am saying that one of the problems the UNC have as an outsider looking in is the political leader. You don't have to comment on that. I don't want to put you in that position, but that's my opinion.
No, I will comment on it, and I will simply say to you that Kamla Prasad Bisesa has steered this ship of the United National Congress. We are more united than we have ever been today under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, under her leadership. And she is a leader who has openly stated that she knows that there will come a time when she steps down. But what she is doing is ensuring that she is building a strong party to take government, right? At any point in time, tomorrow, call election, because she brought in a number of younger persons. You will have seen over time some of our more senior representatives who may have retired, who may have stepped out, and many of them are not necessarily gone. They are still there guiding the younger ones within the United National Congress, guiding us, like Dr. Tim Gopi Singh is by our side, guiding us, right? Playing a pivotal role, even though he's not in the Senate or in the Parliament, right? But she is ensuring that she has unified the party, and she's ensuring that there's continuity within the party for the day in which, whenever she goes. So I don't agree with you in that regards, right? There is 2.5 years that we have 2.75 years to an election. She has been building the party. She has been strengthening the party. She has been bringing new blood into the party. She is unifying us, and she is leading us down a path where we are readying ourselves as the next government in waiting. So I completely disagree with you with regards to that. Whenever the time comes that she moves on as a political leader, I know she would have left a very strong party in the aftermath.
So, Senator Leiter, you don't believe that there are any persons in that party that can do a better job strengthening the party, even much better than it's being done right now?
I believe we have a number of very qualified MPs and senators in the upper and lower house right now who are growing from strength to strength. Some of them who are already immensely strong and can take any leadership role, whether it's deputy political leader, whether it's chairman of the party. We have a party of leaders, but we have one political leader.
Well,
and that is Kamala Prasad Bisesa.
I know you didn't answer my question because you have to be politically correct, but I respect that.
No, that's okay. No, you asked the question of whether or not we have that. I'm saying to you, we are a party of leaders. We are a party of professionals. We have professionals in all fields within our party. We have leaders within our party. We have one political leader that we all stand behind. But we have leaders in our party that can act in any leadership role within the party.
And Senator, I understand that, right? But here's why I made that analogy. Yeah? As political leader, right? You are the leader of the party. But when you're going to stand on a platform, and chastise a person who still sit there at UNC and tell them you have to support party before country, to me, you have lost a lot of significant stripes. When you are telling someone publicly that they have to support party before country. I could see you coming behind closed doors and telling me, well, Wall Street, listen, you have to support party before country, But publicly,
you see me behind no closed. I go openly tell you that you have a leader in your party that stands up on platforms and degrades women, degrades institutions, interferes and tampers in institutions. You have a leader that
subject.
You see,
you could pelt. Listen, you could pelt a stone at my leader. I know that's what it is in politics. But you see, we have about 1,000 different incidents where your leader stands up on a platform and disparages women in the worst way, talks to them as a golf course, right? Need to be groomed, right? Buffing people, telling people that, you go fight for your wage increase. And when you get your wage increase, you go see, you have no job, you have no work after. The amount of things that man has get up and say to people and nobody says anything. The media don't get up and put that man to task. If Kamala Prasad Bisesa get up and say, the sky is orange, there are 1,000 questions going to be put on that lady. But this man gets up on a pulpit and insult everybody, left is right, up and down.
Look,
and the media don't hold up the task.
I think we're in agreement that on both sides of the divide, leadership is lacking in a big way. Because
you all may agree that. I don't agree that. I think on one side there's a problem with leadership.
When you say that you go for
we balance.
When you say that you are for country before party and you're told to go to hell in public, that says it all.
Yep.
That's a massive statement. A massive
Yeah, not
statement.
good, Senator Leiter. Not good.
That's a
Yeah.
massive
But let me tell you, I want to say this, right?
wanted to touch on agriculture because we're getting close to the top of the
Yeah, I realize we're getting close to that, right? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me touch on agriculture very quickly, guys. It's a lovely program as usual, boy. Oh Lord. Now in agriculture, of the 180 pages in the Red Book of Fairy Tales, right? Of the 180 pages, agriculture.
Why you call it
the Red Book of Fairy Tales?
Why is that?
Well, 95% inside of here. 95% of the things inside of there never come to fruition. It's a fairy tale. It don't exist. All right, let me give you a fairy tale now. Let me give you a fairy tale. We reach agriculture. Let me give you a fairy tale. I know we short on time, so I'm not going to have the opportunity to go in depth in agriculture as I would like to. But let me give you a fairy tale. So in the 180 pages of this budget, there are 5.5 pages. 5.5 pages that are dedicated to agriculture in this 180-page document, right? And of the 5.5 pages, there's about 3.5 pages of fluff. What do I mean by fluff? So he starts off by talking about agriculture. He wants to talk about the impact of COVID-19 on agriculture. Renewed energy within the CARICOM. So he gives a story, goes into the next page. We went to an expo in Guyana, and mind you, 7 years later, the Prime Minister now jumps in a plane and goes to an expo in Guyana. 7 years later, he goes to an expo. The first time anything in agriculture, he went to Guyana. I don't know if there was a golf course on one of them farms or something, but he went to the expo. And then when he come back from the expo now, he comes back and he throws a big expo in Trinidad the other day where they boast about 30,000 participants. They spent a few $1 million on the expo. But yet, if you ask the average farmer to the length and breadth of the country, they were not involved, didn't attend, had no part of this expo. But I'm not going to go into the details of that. He boasts about an expo they had a couple months ago in Trinidad, which is the first time we ever hear anything come out of this government with agriculture, and the majority of the people on display within that expo were agro-processors and persons with factories and stuff like that. But again, all them factories, you have to import all the agricultural produce anyway to meet the finished product because it's not being produced in Trinidad. But let's move on. He talks about the CARICOM. He talks about the United Nations. A doctor Shakuntala Harak Singh, who got a prize, a World Food Prize for groundbreaking research in development. He goes on to speak about the larger issues with the war in Ukraine and the food shortage globally. And we go on to page 3 now. You hear anything yet in agriculture yet? Right? He goes on to page 3 talking about continuing about the Ukraine war, about supply chain issues, and about the country is heavily dependent on importing food, $5 billion. Then he comes back to speak about the CARICOM agenda and the roadmap for agriculture. And then on the 4th page, with only 1.5 pages to go, he starts talking about agriculture now, what they intend to do, right? So they want to boosting local production.
B-Mobile getting some problems, man.
Access imported foods. Yeah.
Senator, B-Mobile getting either B-Mobile or Digital getting some problems, or Flow, one of them.
Boy, they want me to tell you this part. Right. So then they start to talk about digital innovation, digitalization, and technology engaged in the agricultural sector. They can't even get this, and they're talking about digitization digitization, technology, and innovation in farming. And that's why I have to ask, which one of their financiers getting into a mega farm? Because that's the only reason why they're going to be talking about digitization and technology, right? Then he talks about nutrition and communicable diseases. I ain't hearing nothing yet about agriculture. Then he come back to the Russia-Ukraine war, 27% of global wheat exports. So now we're on the last page and a half of this document. We're on the last page and a half, and you haven't heard a single measure for agriculture as yet, right? And on the last page and a half, it comes in now, and they talk about a grant fund facility for 50% to 75%, and we will also increase the maximum funding amount from $250,000 to $340,000 for anyone who will be involved in producing alternative wheat flour. So making flour out of cassava and any of these things like that, right? So that's one initiative there. Okay. After that, he talks about the 300. And then he says, I now take the opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to our farmers for excellent work that they have been doing despite the challenges. And I wish to confirm that we have once again allocated the additional sum of $300 million for agriculture incentives. Now, I want to deal with this one, Anselm. This, which I consider to be the biggest form of traitorism, being a traitor to the farmers of this country, right? Let me get now there's something called the yellow books, right? These books are the books where we could go and find out expenditure. In the financial year, when the budget was read for 2021, right? He promised us $500 million. All you remember that?
No, I don't remember.
For the agriculture incentives, the stimulus monies, $500 million. That's how we got to the almost $1.2 billion for agriculture, right? In the financial year 2020-2021. So in financial year 2020-2021, he came to us. So this is two budgets, not this budget, two budgets before, right? Financial year 2020
it was
and 2021. It was 1.198 million, of that 1.198 million, $500 million was put aside as a stimulus incentive for the manufacturing sector, right? They posted it. When we were looking in the yellow books to find out where this money was put within agriculture, we couldn't find it in agriculture. We couldn't find it anywhere in agriculture. We eventually found it under the Ministry of Finance, under a special purpose project, right? So it stayed under the Ministry of Finance. Do you know, now that we have the yellow books and we've seen the actual expenditure for 2020-2021 for that $500 million, do you know how much money they actually spent?
No, I don't know. We don't know.
14 million. 1-4.
Swamp to the rest.
I stood up in a debate when last budget, where they showed that some $78 million was spent from that $500 million. And I asked the question back then about the $500 million. If $78 million is spent in this year, what happened to the other $422 million? That's when Clarence Rembrandt stood up and said to us that no, that will be rolled over into the next financial year. Now, that's not what you told us in the budget in 2020-2021. You told us it's $500 million for that year. You boasted. You repeated it in the Colin Imbert style. And then in the debate coming down to the end of the year, Clarence Rembrandt tells me, no, that rolling over into the next year. And then Imbert throws Clarence Rembrandt under the bus, saying how I just want to tap him up sometimes. He doesn't bring people he doesn't bring the farmers to us for us to invest and do these things or whatever. Throw him under the bus. They never sent the money over to agriculture. It stayed under the Ministry of Finance as a promise that never materialized. And it spent $14 million. So take away $500 million, or take away, 480 and how much I say 486 486 million from that 1.198 million, and that was what was spent on agriculture that year. Then in the 2021-2022 budget, they came now and said $300 million. So in the last year budget presentation, I stood up again in the budget presentation. I asked the question, what happened? I thought you told us that the 422 rolling over into the next year. Where the $122 million gone that you promised? Never got an answer. They just ignore you. Never got an answer. They ignored 300 million. Now, in this year's yellow books, they have indicated that they have commitments of that 300 million to the tune of $224 million. So still they haven't spent the full, still they're not saying to us that they've committed the whole 300 million, only 224 million, they're saying they're committed. But we have to wait until later on next year when the actual numbers come out to see how much of that 300 million they actually spent. So we know it is Mama Guy. So when he comes now and says he put in back the 300 million, that is the Mama Guy, the farmers. We have been in budget consultations for the past 2 months with farmers through the length and breadth of the country, and all of them are complaining. All of them. I don't want to give away my budget presentation, but I'm going to tell you that they are all complaining. Nobody's getting grants. They're not getting nothing. All we found is a record of about $2 million given out in some grants in the last month that they rushed and give out before the budget debate, right? But they come back now with the $300 million that they promised the year before, that they only say they committed 224, and we don't know how much is actual. And then 500 million the year before that, where they actually spent 14 million. So they are lying. It is a Mama Guy from this government. But for the record, I want to tell you what this government has done with agriculture when it comes to budgeting for agriculture under their tenure.
Well, Senator,
Senator,
hold a minute. We just have a few minutes left, right? We got to go for a quick station identification. So hold that thought. We're gonna come back and we can.
I'll hear this before you go. Yeah.
So before we go, guys, Albert Montano, Ray Stelt, Lana, Ken John, Rose, Hailey, Nadia, Eugene, Judy. Put closing comments in the chat. Judy, yes, put closing comments in the chat. We're going to go for a quick station identification. It's in the village of the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after this show.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We are back with you. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Of course, we have with us now in the village tonight. No stranger to In the Village, no other than, and we call him one of our friends, because he's very vibrant when he comes into the village, no other than Senator Damian Leiter. Go ahead, Senator.
So what I want to show you is an example of how the PNM have decimated agriculture in this country. Listen to this. Between 2012 and 2013 budget under the People's Partnership, $1.338 billion.
But Senator,
between 2013...
Wait, I don't want to stop you, but you're going back now. You just tell me to go back. Or you going back?
No, I only taken 3 years to show you where the cliff started. Where the cliff. You have to appreciate the 3 years before to see the cliff, right? So 2013 to 2014, 1.324 billion people partnership. 2014 to 2015, people partnership 1.32. 2015 to 2016 under PNM, $831 million. You hear? 1.3 down to 831 million. 2016 to 2017, down to 766 million. 2017 to 2018, PNM, down to $544 million. And by the way, that 544 could have probably barely paid the recurring expenditure for the staff and everybody inside there, which we're happy they're employed. But what you could do after that? 2018 to 2019, $780 million. 2019 to 2020, $708 million. 2020 to 2021, the mama guy of mama guys, $1.198 billion, where 500 million of that, almost 500 million, short of 500, never spent. So we know it was, minus it there, you know you're back down into the 7s and 800s, right? 2021 to 2022, 1.249 billion. I put it to you, you gotta take off another 150 million off of that. And now 2022 to 2023, 7 years later, after decimating agriculture in the country, after every single part of the assets of agriculture, whether it was the artificial insemination plant, whether it was Monjaloo Farms that produces grass for animals, whether it was the Repo Farms, which is now privatized, whatever institution existed for farming and controlled by the government, it was collapsed, it was destroyed, it has fallen apart. Worse than anything else has been the problem of paradial larceny, where the paradial larceny unit has literally fallen apart, disintegrated. The officers are striking. The officers don't have cars to patrol. They don't have resources. They don't have firearms. They have to use their own self. I don't want to give away my presentation, but the paradial larceny unit it has completely disintegrated and fallen apart. So the entire institution of agriculture has fallen apart under the government, which I just read out to you, the budgets under this government. And now we are seeing that this year, this government is now coming to Mama Guide Nation about them caring about agriculture in this country, coming back to people's partnership levels of $1.3 billion for agriculture, with the same $300 million, which we know they ain't going to spend again, right? And we will see how much they actually give out in the budget in 2023 next year if I'm still a senator then, right? But that has been the state of agriculture in our country. And you saying that this government is diversifying its economy outside of the energy sector, you think that this government cares about food sustainability in this country? No, the food import bill continues to be over $5 billion. And the importers are continuing to make lots of money with it. All right, I have nothing against importers. If the government has decimated agriculture, somebody had to bring the food in. Somebody has to bring it in, right? I remember early in this year, there was a motion brought by the then Minister of Agriculture to dismantle the livestock board. Listen to this, and I'm going to leave you with this one. They came to dismantle the livestock board, right? The livestock board consisted of stakeholders from the industry. So representatives from poultry, representatives from pig, small ruminants, from dairy, so they from agriculture, vegetables, etc. Right? There were stakeholders that form part of this board. Part of the responsibility of the board is to cast an eye over the assets, state-owned assets that fall under agriculture. They wanted to dismantle that board, right? They came to dismantle it. They never formed the board. When the PNM came into power, right? They never formed the board. It was until a previous Minister of Agriculture and the People's Partnership took them to court and won in the court, and the court forced them to form the board. But they wanted to dismantle this board. They brought the motion to the parliament late last year or the beginning of this. Then independent Senator Vera got up and responded, and then he put an end to the debate. He put an end to the debate because myself and independent Senator Vera exposed it and showed why this government had no right to dismantle this board. And I had to ask the question, were you removing the stakeholders from the board so that certain friends and financiers who iron up the assets, iron up the land, could get their hands on these assets without the scrutiny of this livestock board? And that debate ended. You could go in the papers and see it. Wall Street, I'll send you a picture of the report in the Express newspaper, right? Where as soon as me and Vera finish with Clarence, they call a halt to the debate. And that motion has never come back up in the parliament since. That is what this government thinks about agriculture in this country. They have completely failed the farmers of Trinidad and Tobago. They have completely failed the fisher folk in this country. When they removed, do you know what they are doing? Wall Street, I saw it with my own eyes. I saw it with my own eyes. I was on the north coast of Trinidad. I went in a fishing village to buy some kingfish. They say, hold on. The man going to come back. Pirog. Row the boat out to Venezuela. Fish about the waters.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, you hearing me now? Are you hearing me now?
Yeah.
You hearing me now?
Yeah,
right. The man jump in the pirogue, drives the boat out to sea, meets a Venezuelan fishing boat on the outskirts, and I guess he would have paid, whether barter or whether cash, he would have bought the fish from the bigger Venezuelan fishing vessels, and he bought it right back into the fishing village, and I get my kingfish. So many of these fishermen are not even going out and actually fishing now. And it's not their fault. It's simply not feasible for them to put fuel in their boats now to go out and fish.
Senator,
and the government has abandoned the fishermen.
You should not buy that fish then.
Partner, I was hungry, you know. I had a nice garlic and olive oil cut up and thing there and a barbecue running, you know. I needed to get a kingfish there, boy. Them fish was fish in my waters. That was fish in my Trinidad waters.
Yeah. But
so Senator, fish.
We have to continue this discussion, you know, another time, because we you see, you was grand charging this evening. You're talking all kind of thing, but you only have 5 minutes and you only have 10 minutes and all kind of thing. You know, whenever you come in the village, you don't come and stay no 10 or 15 minutes. I know what you was telling me about no 10 or 15 minutes last time. Look how long you stay. You know, whenever you come in here, you can't stay no 10
minutes. You see, Anslim, you know why? You know why, Anslim? You know I love you. You know I love you. You just have a little keyboard in front of you. You try to take me now with some twisted questions.
See? We didn't hear you.
Right? My political leader says it as well. We are not without mistakes. We made mistakes between 2010 and 2015. Right? There's no doubt that heirs to be human. We have made mistakes. Kamala Persad stood up on many platforms and said, we have made mistakes. And for the mistakes we've made, we apologize. Right? So there's always going to be an opportunity for you or any other media personality or anyone else to challenge us on things that happened in the past. Right? And I am not the kind of person who is going to stand up there and say, well, we never made mistakes of the past. There were mistakes made in the past. However, we ran a government between 2010 and 2015 where the economy was growing, where the average citizen in Trinidad and Tobago had a better life, lived safer, was highly employed, right? Was able to afford food, was able to afford the basic necessities in life. Those simple things under the Maslow's hierarchy of needs called shelter, clothing, food, and security as a People's Partnership government, we were able to provide that to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. And I put it to you that under this last 7 years, if anyone in Trinidad and Tobago can come with a right mind, if you're not getting some contract from the PNM or you're drinking the Balizé juice, if you could tell me that life today is better than it was between 2010 and 2015, then I have to ask you, please can you give me a subcontract for whatever contract you get in, or give me a sip of that juice? Because obviously you have to be blinded by one or the other. So and with that I say that we live today in 2022. We live in a situation, in a crisis today, where we are depending upon a government that won by a mere 2 seats, but we are depending on a government, a minority government, to steer us through hard economic times, global catastrophes, COVID pandemic. And I'm saying to you that they have failed miserably in doing so. And in this financial budget, 2023, they have once again showed not only are they incompetent, but they are incompetent minus. They're going into minus now. They're not just incompetent on the lower part of the scale. They're now going into minus with this budget. Because there is nothing in this budget that I am seeing that is going to make any remarkable change in this country to diversify our economy outside of oil and gas. But yet we are holding on to our prayer with this war in Russia.
Senator, we are going to leave it there for the night. We always appreciate you coming into the village, and we always have vibrant discussions back and forth. And don't be a stranger. Next time I send you a message, I ain't telling you all the thing. I just sending you a time and say, hey, Senator, you're available that time. All right?
Well, so I want to say to Diane and Tommy and so on, it was lovely being with you all this evening. As usual, Miss Benskin, you are my darling. I love your charisma. I love your spirit. And what I love more than anything else, is your balance. You are very balanced, lady. You call it as you see it. And you know, you could tell me, you could criticize me with something, and I would never take offense because you are so balanced. Now, on the other hand, I'm a partner Wall Street on the next end. That I want to say to Wall Street that, as I always say, we may support different parties, but you are indeed my brother. I love your spirit. I love your tenacity. I love the way you challenge. And it's okay to challenge. There's nothing wrong with challenging any side. We must never take offense when we challenge each other in anything. Never take offense. And for that, I say to you, I have the most amount of respect for you, your show, and of course, your co-hosts. I thank you very much for having me in the village once again. And to all the listeners listening in this evening, some who may not agree with my point of view, some will. I say, well, we live in a democracy. Hopefully, it still remains a democracy, but we have freedom of speech, freedom of opinion, and I think a healthy democracy and healthy discussion is always good to building a nation. So thank you very much again for bringing me in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Leiter.
Thank you, Senator Leiter.
All right. Okay, guys. Take care.
Good night. Good night.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure.
All you hear that debate on your balance, eh? Watch yourself, Chancellor. I don't drink that Balizé juice. I don't drink that passion.
Albert Montano say Ansem is off balance. The man just tell him a balance. But Albert come at the last minute. Albert, you put a closing comment in the chat? Eh? You come about off balance. You had
Lana, I'm okay. I just think that, on the camera, sometimes I have to come off the bright light and stuff. I'm good, Lana. Don't worry.
Right. Let me give my closing comments. Right? If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Those who profess to favor freedom and yet depreciate agitation are men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. They want the ocean without the awful roar of its many waters. From where I said, this is it. The clock on the wall said, that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent. When talent does not work hard, for every 60 seconds of anger, we lose 1 minute of happiness. Go ahead, Diana.
Well, I just want to say, there's a big march coming up tomorrow. Let us see amongst you who are accomplices with the oppressor. This is Diana Benskin bidding you all feed us in till we meet on Saturday.
You, Diana Benskin. Thank you very much, Diana Benskin. Go ahead, Tommy.
Anyway, again, I want to thank everybody. But before I go, I want to say this. Don't be pushed by your problems. Be led by your dreams. These are the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson. A pleasant good night to each and every one. Be safe in the village. Love you all. Thank you.
Yeah. And I want to apologize to a lot of the questions that we had in the village. Yeah. But and I tell you something, Senator Leiter say, what street? I only have 15, 20 minutes. I said, right, partner. 15, 20 minutes. Always you have 15, 20 minutes, we come, right? Right? You only have 15, 20 minutes. But, it is, at least, we know that when people come in the village, they go feel, what? They go feel. Lana says, bless, good night. All stay safe till we meet again on Saturday. I don't know what Hailey will be saying sometime, Hailey says, answer the man say is a galvanized nail, you're top heavy.
Good night, Nadia.
I don't know. I don't know all of the, I don't know what you'll be saying sometime. I don't know why I just read your comments sometime, Ali, but I had to read them. Because we balance. Not like what Albert is saying, but off balance. We balance in the village. Understand? We try to read as much as the comments as possible. Ken John says, good night, everyone. Blessings, Anselm, Diana, Tommy. Judy says, thank you, Senator Leiter. Let me see if Albert put a comment.
You read Lana's already?
Yeah. Respect to WZYE in the village where we keep it real and talk facts, not fiction. This program is not the Twilight Zone. Full 100. Yeah.
So who program is the Twilight Zone?
Let
me start something back now.
Nadia says, good night, everyone. Stay safe till we meet again in the village. Stay safe. Blessed night, everyone. That's Nadia. Albert said, good night, my dear Diana. Sleep well.
Oh, I always do.
Judy says, good night, Wall Street, Tommy, Diana. Universal blessings to you guys until we meet again.
Same to you, Judy.
Let me see this. Judy says, good night, village families. May the universe continue to bless you and yours. And this too shall come to an end until we meet again on Saturday. Lana says, our closing comment is AG, I pass law that under any recession, all politicians should get no perks until the country comes out of recession.
That's right.
That is the AG. She's the AG.
That Lana, right? AG.
Yeah.
Lana, you're a mean AG girl.
And Judy says she wants us to bring back Senator Leiter next month.
Yeah, we could bring him back.
Albert Montano says,
I want someone.
Yeah, come on, the old saying, strange talk is bad manners, and the truth offends, and the truth will set you free. If we do these things, we'll have a better TNT, a better Trinidad and Tobago. So there you go, Albert.
That's right.
Ken John says, good night, Nadia Mongol. Blessings, love, and peace. Let me see. Okay, I think that's it.
I sent you 2 songs, so you can pick which one you want.
Ken John says, the Almighty God see humans as nothing, even world rulers and kings and queens, but Israel is mine, says the Lord. Which 2 songs was that? Adana?
I can't remember the last 2. Look and see on your WhatsApp. Something about, I don't know, come back, I can't remember. One by a Vinci and one by a Trini. Yeah, I'll have to come up.
What about the poor? By Sugar Hollows? What about the poor?
Yeah, Sugar Hollows, yeah. I'm
Okay.
there. Mm-hmm.
For that one. So we're gonna go out tonight with Sugar Hollows. What about the poor?
Yeah, what about the poor, Dr. Rowley? And expert.
Sugar.
They make the rich richer, and they will help the poor.
That's true.
That's what's about the poor.
That rollinomics.
Yeah, I don't have no problem helping the rich so the rich can get richer so they can help the poor.
Trickle down economics. Reaganomics.
Yeah. Reaganomics, man.
That's rollinomics.
That never worked.
Never did, never will.
That never worked. All right, folks. So, folks, it's a pleasure. We're going to leave with Sugar Aloes. What about the poor? See everyone. Stay safe. And we look forward to seeing you guys in...
Saturday, I'll be bringing in some young people, progressive people.
No. Let me talk about that before you do it. Let me talk about that.
Okay. Because I had okay.
Yeah, let me talk about that. Here we go. Sugar Aloes.
Good evening, Grandson. Good evening, grandson. What about the poor in this country? Nobody seems to care for them. I am making this man cause I'm feeling sad for the way they treat poor people in Trinidad. To me, they have compassion again, because year after year, poor people complain. Mr. Politician, I beg you to heed. It's not only wrong elections, poor people have need. You will only miss the water when the well runs dry. Take some time and listen the poor man's cry. Because why? Without the poor man vote, you wouldn't be in office. Without the poor man vote, your wife can't be first lady. So while you showing concern for your favorite constituency, I'm begging, show concern for Peter and Lavanti. It's the poor man who assists you with your campaign rally. It's he who forms the crowd, although he knows you're untrue. And yet still with all the false promises, he remains loyal to you. It's time you know poor people as people too. La da 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 da. Digga digga digga, joy joy, la 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 day, day. When to make a sacrifice, he is in the lead. Yet still the poor man eats the bread that the devil need. His way of life don't seem to be nobody concerned. He's forced to exist on the little money he earns. To make a living, some may have to break the law, or swallow their pride and go begging from door to door. Some try to make a honest living off of the land. Society just have no regard for the poor man. Understand? But without the poor man, there won't be no credit union. It's through the poor man, them bourgeois know about Susu. And yet through the years, all you show the poor man is pure rejection. But without his cash, your big store business is boo. Through the poor man, the banking sector gets big interest. And yet he's the last to qualify when seeking a loan. And just in case he's late with an installment, they will brand him a delinquent. But like it or not, that's the poor man's predicament. La da la da day. The politicians always playing musical chairs.
The poor man becomes important once every 5 years. He'll make the time and come and visit you in your home. And with a silver fork tongue, they promise you a bone. But when they reach in office, that is therapy. To see the same man, now you must see his secretary. His secretary, and you end up in an argument. You still can't see him because you don't have an appointment. That's storming. But Shabonas has changed from a cane field to a furrow. And they are showing signs of progress each passing day. You both how you care about the poor man in your manifesto. Yet still John and Lavan